all of this is organized by Zero. But look for that on the weekends if you want to see the absolute top foreigners playing. But here we are watching kind of our tier 2, definitely still solid players though. There's some pretty big names. I mean, we had Tai2 as one of the players in this league. He unfortunately dropped a few points, literally the last game possible, like minutes before the ladder closed, and lost his qualifying spot. And today, unfortunately for our first group, there's a little bit of bad news, as tends to be the case. With a large ladder tournament like this, we did have a few no-shows. So the first group, Group C, is a bit of a lean group here. We're going to go first into, I guess, our winner's match after a few walkovers, and that will be featuring BSL 6 Dreamer taking on IMJIRAIYA, who I have to give a big shout out to because he's always hosting my stream. He's a cool dude. I like him. So we're going to have IMJIRAIYA taking on Dreamer. Actually, I've seen Dreamer comment a lot on my YouTube videos too. So both these guys are alright in my book. Alright, so here we go into game number 1. In the top right-hand corner, we have Dreamer, and whoa, that sound just blew up in my ear. Holy smokes. Well, let's balance this a little bit better. If the sound needs to go up or down, let me know where we're at. So top right-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner, we've got Dreamer. Top left-hand corner here, we have IMJIRAIYA. And this looks quite possibly like In the Way of an Eddy as our first map. But I did not actually pay attention to the map name, so we'll have to figure it out. My first guess is In the Way of an Eddy. It could be Jade, it could be some other maps, but I don't think Jade is part of the map pool, whereas I know for a fact In the Way of an Eddy is, so I'm expecting that. How is it? That is an interesting question. I don't know. I mean, I do have a screen behind, or not I have a window behind me, and light streams through it in the morning, so I do put my blackout curtain over it. So that might be, but why it looks darker than in the afternoon or whatever, I don't know. That is a very good question, Kix, and even I don't know. But yeah, I just have a blackout curtain for sleep. But the light behind it is like way too bright. There's nothing my camera can do with it. Either I am an invisible like thug, like a blackout silhouette, or the secondary option, of course, is that I'm drowning in light and everything else is drowning in light. Yeah, so this is definitely In the Way of an Eddy at this point. And we can see Jiraiya coming down here, actually making the hatch on 11 here. But not an 11 pool. A while back, there was a TL poster named Pauline from IFU, who is a huge proponent of 11 pool. But of course, this is not what Jiraiya is doing, and Dreamer is dropping the Forge, so no super aggressive expansion type game here. And then it looks like he is going to go straight into his Nexus, no surprises, cross map, and he scouted that there was a hatch first. Now, this obviously in stark contrast to the 10 hatch, 9 hatch that we saw Dark doing, or was it Dark doing in BSL Pro League games this past weekend. This, I believe, will be more of an economic-oriented opening. It's not going to be super aggressive. We're just going to go attack all in with Lings. And the cannon should start here for Dreamer when he has a bit of money. Not worrying about cutting any probes, no need for that. And third drone, okay, third drone going out. Dreamer's not going to... Oh, Dreamer is going to think about blocking the third hatch, but he's a bit late. Will Jiraiya get the minerals in time? Oh, he's going to get the block, so that's a little bit annoying. Third base here for Jiraiya is definitely going to be annoyed by the probe from Dreamer. And for the moment, he's just got to recall the probe and wait for those Zerglings to pop out, so that's a pretty significant delay on his third base. We'll see if he just drops it over here. The probe might not let it go down anywhere. But yeah, for the moment, just retreating with that. And we'll see if he changes his game plan at all based on that. We can see he's taking the gas a little bit faster, so that will allow him to, if he plays standard, to get out some Scourge and not lose any Overlords to that first Corsair. No game, wait, no game sound, what? Alright, we'll do a quick pause. No game sound, is my stream doing that again? Where it knows it has the right audio device, but it doesn't actually play the audio. Maybe. Maybe. And now I think my StarCraft just crashed. That is really annoying. I don't know why that happens. Has anybody else been having that problem? Like, legit question. Where you, like, tab out of StarCraft and StarCraft just crashes while you're tabbed out. It's never crashed in-game, so at least it's not doing that, but it's crashing, like, on the regular if I tab out for 30 seconds or 2 minutes or any particular amount of time. Quadrox clearly excited to see IMJIRAIYA playing. Hype is real. Is he a countryman, Quadrox, a friend, a CPL coach? What is your affiliation? Or just you follow his stream and enjoy watching from there? Lots of possibilities. Alright. Now I think we have sound. Just confirm. Okay, yeah, we definitely have sound. I am quite confident of that now. He has good personality, says Quadrox. Alright, so let's take a jump forward here. Go back to where we were. Which was not quite that far along. Alright, so now we'll switch back over to it. And of course, as we were just talking about, he was grabbing his gas, so he'll have those faster Mutalisks. Or not Mutalisks, faster Spire, faster Scourge, and possibly Mutas if he wants to go, but by no means a guarantee. Certainly Mutalisks can be used in a ZVP, but they are not used in every ZVP, unlike ZVT, where in almost all top ZVTs you will see Muta at some point. Alright, so now a few Lings out here, and they will chase the probe away, and I don't think Dreamer will spend a whole lot of time even trying to block, but for the moment we don't even see Jiraiya sending a drone over, and for good reason, because he has opted instead to take the far third hatchery here and switch to maybe more of an economic style Zerg. No guarantees, you could certainly still play aggressive off this, but generally the far third base is more often taken when the goal is to play economic, easy access to that fourth base. And then if you're going to play aggressive, you take a close third base for just easier defense against Zealots, allows you to skimp a little bit more on Sunkens and get into your tech a bit faster and have that pressure arrive all that much sooner. Alright, people are hearing sound, so that is good. It's very inspiring when people wearing state-mandated crash helmets can compete. Avulove just bringing out the savage comments. Alright, we got a Hydra Den coming down, so actually, we're just going to have some aggressive play here from Jiraiya. And now it's going to be all a question of, can Dreamer get the read on this? And the probe is in the right spot. Let's see if there's a block. Oh, not a block, no? Oh, there's a block over here. Alright, so that should make Dreamer at least a little suspicious. Zergs will sometimes do this as a fake, but if Zerg's bothering to put Lings on the ramp and chasing your probe around really aggressively, you have to get a little bit suspicious, and we see a second cannon is being added. He'll need more than that, but he's at least started in the right direction to potentially holding off a Hydra bus coming in here from Jiraiya. Of course, it is also possible that he just does a fake bust here, makes 5 or 6 Hydra, takes down the wall, and then transitions right back into drones. Oh, and that, honestly, looking at the minerals, pretty much says that's what he's going to do. Now, 2 cannons here from Dreamer shouldn't be enough. I mean, if he completely calls Jiraiya's bluff, and Jiraiya truly only makes 5 Hydras, he'll be okay. But the problem is, if you stick on 2 cannons, Zerg can just say, oh, well, you only have 2 cannons, I'm going to actually bust you, and make a bunch of cannons. But I'm expecting we'll see drones in production, or maybe not. Or maybe not this hatch, I don't know. Jiraiya is floating a hell of a lot of minerals, which is a little bit odd. He actually is making a lot of Hydras, though. So perhaps it's going to be a dedicated bust, but the minerals being this high is interesting. So, okay, we do have a 4th hatchery, but he's made more Hydralisks than you would generally expect from a fake bust. Usually that's 5 or 6 Hydra, just enough to take down the wall and appear scary, but not enough to actually like commit to Hydras. So here we go, coming up to the wall. He's definitely going to get a reaction of cannons here out of Dreamer. I don't feel like Dreamer will die to this outright. There's just not enough Hydra here. And Overlord's getting picked off. He should have one of his Hydra ups. Yeah, he's got his range now, a little easier to take down that wall, but does not have his speed. So that also speaks to the fact that it's going to be more or less impossible. But he is getting a big reaction out of Dreamer, a solid 7 cannons, and of course he has placed this 4th hatchery. Unfortunately for him, he could have placed it quite a bit sooner, and oh, that was a very sloppy moment there by Dreamer, carelessly losing a Corsair, flying it over the Hydra that he knew were there, and now swinging around here to attack the Corsair. He's going to get the cannons to pick off 1 Hydra, really wants to get this Overlord. He's got this DT here, he just wants to get this away from his base. The 5th hatch also now down for Jiraiya, and a lair on the way. Speed getting close to finishing. And we'll see if, with these Hydra here, we'll see if Jiraiya does anything with like super fast Lurker. Not looking like it though, because he has neither of these gases taken yet, and is switching back into a few drones here. Still trying to get the Overlord, but wants it way too badly. Target firing is not there, but I don't know what to say about that for Dreamer. That's pretty damn questionable. Unable to get either of the Overlords, and throws away 3 Corsairs absolutely for free. Some pretty subpar play there, at least on the Corsair front for Dreamer. Rather than throw them away to the Overlords, if you don't have the APM or the whatever to use them, I would at least just keep them in your base, and that way if Muta pop out, you can at least pull a few out and deflect them for a little bit while you go up to 5 or 6 Corsairs. It's a lot better than having to start from 0 and just being like, oh, well, now the Muta are going to ravage my base for the next 3 minutes. And a creep colony going down here, which I guess I can see there are a few Zealots. Actually, there aren't that many Zealots. And only 2 Templar, which is a bit interesting for Dreamer. Where is his gas gone? Oh, okay, a few more. Never mind. There we go. That makes a little more... Oh, that's also where his gas has gone. So Dreamer looking to play some, like, mega upgraded PVZ, although the second forge not spinning yet. So that explains where all his minerals are going. And, oh my gosh, Jiraiya with a moment of inattentivity here loses what looks to be about 5 or 6 Hydras. But he is going back. He is taking that 6 o'clock base. He's getting a few Sunkens down here. No need for spores with those Corsairs out. And in typical fashion, definitely a little more focus on the defense of the 3rd base rather than the natural. It tends to be the more attackable base. And now the DT can finally slip out here. And so it's going to slide out onto the map and go hunting. But right now, Overlords are in fine position. This DT should not do anything. If there were no Hydras here, okay, yeah, sure, maybe it could run into the base, but... let's face it, there are plenty of Hydra here. Gateway count for Dreamer not that high. Now we have the double forges going. Okay, there we go. He's fixing his Jadong ramp issue. Maybe even... is that 5 or 6? Oh, that's 5 Templar. It's 6 Templar. Possibly a little bit high on the Templar count. It's pretty difficult to use 6 Templar in your army. Particularly in early engagement. Stuff's just going to die before you can cast that many storms. But he may very well come out and just take a 3rd base and then leave 1 or 2 of those Templar at that 3rd base. And we are getting Dragoon range. Robo's there. No observatory yet. A few more gateways going up, so we're going to have 5 gateways coming up here from Dreamer. And I'm curious because he hasn't added gateways really fast. And just the way he's adding gateways, this is not going to be a particularly fast 3rd base either from Dreamer. Obviously things are a bit slowed down after that Hydra bust, but he doesn't have the fastest 3rd base. He doesn't have a lot of gateways. I'm curious to see where this mid game is going to take him. Yeah, he's going to have some really nice upgrades, but I don't know if he's going to have like a good timing to make use of those upgrades. Going to go out and harass with a shuttle. That of course can change things. And now Jiraiya is sending a bunch of units down here. Has he morphed any? Yes, we heard a lurker burrowing. So he has morphed a few lurkers, and so Dreamer, playing the way he is basically allowing Jiraiya to contain him for free. A bit of a curious choice. Another Templar here, actually defending in the main. I didn't even realize he got 2 cannons in the main. We got 1 lurker here, burrowed in an annoying spot. I thought it could harass the gateway, but maybe just units popping out or walking over here. And in the meantime, our shuttle flying up. Looks like Jiraiya is starting to get a pretty solid economy going over here. We've got the sunken colony here, and now we have the shuttle unloading 2 zealots here. And they are going to run in, but no Templar with this. Perhaps just checking with the Zealots first and forcing the run of the drones, and then trying to hit a decent storm. That's like 3, so that's not all that good. A storm on the Hydra, though, that actually does hit a decent number of Hydra. Zealots will probably not get the pool. And we can see Jiraiya, or Dreamer, wanting to deal with this Cliffed Lurker here. And in the meantime, cleaning up the Zealots that come awfully close to getting the pool. But you know what? Not close enough. And, oh man, Jiraiya going for the drop here. But remember, that Templar was kept back. So already a storm has been laid down. And these cannons here proving to be worth their weight in gold. But now Jiraiya obviously targeting probes for a moment. And definitely getting a few kills. But these Lurkers will get cleaned up. I don't know if that was 100% worth it for Jiraiya, but he did kill about 10 probes there at the end, so that was nice. He didn't have a ton of units here at the front. But unfortunately, he kind of just attacked into Dreamer, and Dreamer was set up defensively in kind of a, hey, attack me position. I've got 2 defensive cannons here. So Jiraiya hitting that macro flow a little bit more now. We got 7 or 8 hatches, I think 7 hatches. And Dreamer is still on 2 base. With only about 6 gateways. Oh man, he's even adding more cannons. I don't know about this for Dreamer. I feel like this is going to put him pretty far behind. You know, against a Zerg that has 4 bases, he's kind of sat back too much. Yeah, he's got sick upgrades, but he doesn't have almost anything else. And there's probably Hive started now for Jiraiya, so this goon-based army is going to be getting much weaker. But let's see if Dreamer can bust out here. He will have a window to get some damage done. He will definitely need to get some damage done, though, because he has been on his 2 bases for a hell of a long time. He's basically about to mine out. So this is more or less do or die here from Dreamer. Let's see how sharp the control can be from Dreamer. And we're rolling in here, and he's sending in a few of the Zealots. Needs to keep them back, though. Doesn't want to really lead with those guys. Needs to get the Dragoons fighting, soften up some of these Lurkers, but he's attacking straight into this contain. I don't have a lot of confidence this is going to go anywhere for him. And we can see already almost all of the Zealots are dead. There might even be snipes on the Templar. Actually, no, Templar are not being targeted down here. But Jiraiya kind of runs everything in here, possibly overcommitting a bit. And that is going to give Dreamer the window to break this contain. And now there will be a Protoss army out on the map. But what is back at home for Jiraiya? We see a few Hydralisks over here. A few Hydralisks, not a ton of units. But the supply is still relatively close. And Dreamer sweeping on over to the right side here. Is he just going to go for it, or is he going to throw up an expansion? Because if he throws up an expansion here as he mines out, he's going to have to pause unit production in his gateways, which will definitely kill a lot of his aggression. But of course, then he lives a little bit longer, maybe. Obviously, upgrades are decent. 1-1. What is Jiraiya sitting? 1-0. Status of any other upgrades. We got the Lings coming out now. Crack should be just about done. So this also makes it harder, and looks like Dreamer is going to set up a 3rd base. Probably not a bad idea, because with a bunch of Cracklings pouring out and a Dragoon-heavy army, that is a pretty weak army. And is this going to be a drop, or have we just brought a lot of Overlords down here? I don't know. We're going to have a little bit of a fight, but it's way too late of a burrow here. And all these guys are going to get pushed back. And now Dreamer sweeping out across the map here. Those Lurker kills are certainly going to be nice, but Jiraiya looks to have Lurkers and things back at home in number of plenty, and quite a lot of units over here. Will be very easy if he wants to send in a few Lings here and deny this base, as Dreamer is not keeping much back at all. And look at all the units from Jiraiya here, just looking for an opportunity to surround and take care of this army from Dreamer. And some Hydra running in here. I don't know what they're targeting, but they ran deep in there. But Lurker's burrowing here, and all these Zealots are gone. So now it is just Dragoons, and if a decent number of Hivelings start to come in here, these Dragoons should all fall. Now it looks like for the moment going okay, but look at all the Zerg coming in from the side. There appear to be plenty of units. How many Storms remain, if any? It looks like there are none, so these Lings are just going to crush the army of Dreamer, and that looks like it is just about going to be it. Dreamer is going to need some sort of miraculous hold back at home. He doesn't have a ton of units, and there are just so many Hivelings. He probably doesn't have any Archons. And look at this. Yeah, Jiraiya is just running right past. Units are going to try to get in position. There is a Templar, and there are a few Dragoons and Zealots here, but there's only one Storm. How long can that hold against the flood of Lings from a bunch of hatcheries? The answer is not very long, and we should be seeing the beginning of the dismantling of Dreamer here. If he had a few Reavers, he could probably hold this base a bit longer, but he's used his Storm up now, and will just be completely susceptible to Ling Flood, possibly some lurkers brought down here to burrow and just finish off that third base, which is about all of the mining that Dreamer has. And Jiraiya with 6 or 7 saturated bases right now. Looks like he's not quite ready to dive in there yet. Just going to morph a few lurkers and then go for it. He'll have 1 storm left. And yeah, Jiraiya not growing hard. 30 supply lead. Again, the 2-2 should be 2-1 is kicked in now for Protoss, but we got 1-1 for Zerg. So, in spite of those double forges, the upgrades are still not all that strong here for Jiraiya. Trying to get a few zealots on the map, but those just get captured. The Templar is even going to get off a storm. It's going to get off 1 storm maybe, but the Hydra is now free reign on these Templar, and that's exactly what Jiraiya is going to do, is charge in there and pick those guys off. Gets that one. 1 more to go. And honestly, Jiraiya is being very patient about this. I feel like he has enough hatches where he could just flood Zerglings, but is being more careful than expected. We can see there's a control group of units out for Dreamer, and he is now mining just 1 base. Doesn't even have a shuttle, any other sort of map presence or way of sneaking a base or anything like that. Yes, I do have a new graphics card, so it's pretty nice. Thanks to all these stream viewers for that. And so we have this 1 control group army here from Dreamer. And now we're going to have some Lings flooding in from this side. So there's a lot of cannons. 1 group of Lings is not going to be enough. We're going to have a little bit of a fight over here. Zealots running in, but again, more and more Hivelings coming here from Jiraiya. Going to quickly push that army back. More Templar are going to get picked off. Will Jiraiya come in and pick off that last Templar? He wants to, but he actually doesn't get past there. But units coming in, and Jiraiya is still not ready to move in here and crush this army. Waiting outside here. I guess he just wants to go in with both units when he has enough. This Templar does have 2 storms now. But there's like, again, there's like a control group of units out here. Lurker's moving forward. Now he's cut off both bases. Will he send everything in? Okay, I guess that's, he just wanted to cut off everything before he actually charged in here. And Lings and Hydra trying to come in from the top, actually struggling, but a group of Hydra here is definitely enough to bust these cannons. And that is going to be it for this base. Reinforcements from Jiraiya will probably be enough to kill this army. It certainly will not be enough time to save this base. And it looks like Jiraiya punches his ticket to the round of 16. And Dreamer, unfortunately, will be falling into the losers match. And there it is. GG is called. Unfortunately, Dreamer in that game had been dead for quite some time. The groups, if you do bracket, it should be good. If you just do !! bracket, that should show you the groups. And I'm going to be right back. Bathroom. Alright, I have made it back for now. And that will take us into our final match here between LaAbuela and Dreamer, as there were quite a few walkovers in this group. And it might be that the Wikipedia is not quite updated yet. And hello, Wima, and hello, everybody else. Kev Saden, Nigerian Prince, Avi, everybody else I see in chat. In the top position here as the, oh my god, these colors though. The white Protoss, we have LaAbuela. And in the bottom right-hand position as the yellow Protoss, we have Dreamer. So these colors are going to be really, really hard to distinguish on the mini-map. We're just going to do our best and see what we can do here as we get into this PvP here. Map certainly looks to be silted. Now, Dreamer looked to play relatively standard the previous game, but with a flair for upgrades. And we'll see where he goes here. And LaAbuela, I'm trying to remember from our last BSL, we saw some of him. I don't want to say he played like super standard, but he didn't play like really unorthodox. He wasn't like proxy gatewaying or doing just totally off the wall builds. Alright, so the probe here from LaAbuela. Gonna drop a gateway, no surprises, so gates for both players. Then we'll see if anybody's 2-gating. Of course, it is a flat map, so that definitely increases the strength of early goon pressure or 2-gate. A little more common to see builds like that on these sorts of maps. And is it going to be a 2-gate? Is it going to be a 2-gate? Alright, so LaAbuela is going to open 2-gate, as is Dreamer. So both players just going straight into 2-gate, which does make me often wonder, too, is there going to be latency, right? Because, like, 2-gate is popular, but most players still probably play 1-gate tech most of the time. 1-gate core. So to see double gateways, you know, I could easily see that where they're both thinking, well, it's laggy, and I don't want to face a 2-gate in lag with just a Dragoon and tech. Yeah, Jiraiya, you won that game pretty confidently. Dreamer never really got further than about 5 feet out on the map. Alright, so second gateway finishing up here for both players. And then gas being taken, pretty typical here. 3's lot, and then gas is more or less the gold standard right now. And the probe being chased around. God, these colors are horrible. Look at this. It's like, this looks like it could just be Dreamer's probe. And Dreamer has not found LaAbuela yet. Core is started, and will we see a core here from Dreamer? Yes, we will. Jiraiya, thanks for following, man. Sorry you were a few seconds late for your own game. Dreamer did kind of a strange-ish double forge thing and just never really seemed to have enough units to get out of his base. And the cybernetics core finished up here. No sign of an upgrade yet for Abuela. 2 goons though, it's just a gas thing. Obviously we need to lay that core. You're not going to be able to rush out that Dragoon range upgrade super quick. And double Dragoon starting here for Dreamer, so both players exactly mirroring each other for the moment. Nice little arc set up here from Abuela. And we are just waiting to see what tech path these players are going to go and how they are going to deviate right now, that unknown. Alright, Dragoons are finally out. You can finally kill the scouting probe. So that's nice. Will it get... is it going to try to sneak around and get one more shot off? This Dragoon might get it, though. It's getting close. All right, it gets that last shot. So the probe is finally dead. Now, does Dreamer react? How does Dreamer react? A robo, a gate. Probably not a citadel, but you never know because it's foreigner PvP. Looks like it's going to be some sort of, okay, a pylon. So we still don't know yet. We're going to have a little clash of these small armies here. And lots of zealots here to buffer. And immediately, Dreamer goes up on top of these dragoons looking to get them. And he does pick off one already. Now, Abuela is reinforcing, but his reinforcements are a bit late. And these zealots are just going to duke it out. And now a few more dragoons arriving. And this should be Dreamer's cue to back up. Actually only doing a little bit of tiny stutter step micro. His dragoons are wounded though, but now the reinforcements also arriving here for Dreamer, and it looks like that dragoon is going to fall, and now it's numbers for Dreamer. Abuela needs to back up, but Dreamer with good reactions here, so he's going to get a little bit the better of this micro. 1+1 goon for Dreamer now, and a robotics facility follow-up. Abuela has no follow-up yet. Oh, that's why Dreamer made 2 zealots. That's why he was able to afford the robo. And Abuela was not. Actually, Abuela is going to go into expand. No? Alright, he's just going to go into robo. So both players kind of doing the same thing, but now Dreamer with a much quicker expansion. And a bunch of dragoons at the choke here. Got Robo coming out and waiting on the Robo to finish for Abuela. Will he go directly for Reaver? Not good. I like this Robo positioning. Nice and close to the third base. Crawls out there quite easily. This one perhaps a little bit further away. Playing it safe, going for that obs first. We can see though 4 Dragoons here for Dreamer. Against 5 from Abuela and 2 Zealots, so even numbers of Zealots, but a Dragoon advantage here for Abuela. How close are we to a next round? Okay, it looks like Dragoons will be popping, so as long as the very beginning of the fight doesn't go horribly for Dreamer, he'll be just fine against this. Looks like, though, he's had enough time, so Dreamer should be fine here. In fact, if LaAbuela overcommits, it could be quite bad for him, in all honesty. But actually, Dreamer's scared enough, though, to pull a few probes real quick here, and then just trying to re-arc up his army, reposition. And just going to force back Abuela, kiting back pretty nicely. Good control there, picks off a Zealot for free, and has quite a few Dragoons waiting in the wings. 7, and Abuela just has 6. I thought he had enough, but now his gateways are kicking in. He is definitely focused on that. Abuela focused on the Reavers, has obviously not made an obs. And the obs just now trickling out here. Actually, whoa, double obs from Dreamer. Is he skipping Reaver entirely? Oh, he is. And going to go for, yeah, explains the 4 gates. So, it's going to skip Reaver. He's going to want to get out of his natural. Because if he's forced to fight in his natural against a Reaver from Abuela, the 4-gate advantage becomes not really all that great because the Dragoons just clump up and the Reaver just smashes them with Splash. But if he can fight on the open map, it's more likely to pick off a shuttle, more surface area to spread goons. It becomes a pretty good position. Should be enough goons here for Dreamer to be just fine, and Abuela will likely want to back up here shortly. As remember, there's of course 4 gates, and it's not like the Reaver is being rallied down here. And Dreamer moving forward, trying to do some micro against Abuela's goons here. He's going to pick off a few of them. And now Abuela just needs to turn, tail, and run, perhaps overextending just a little bit here against Dreamer. And the Reaver now out of the natural, repositioning that bad boy. Yeah, I do need to learn how to use the overlay. That would be good. To update that, to have the current score. Although, these are all best of ones. So, you could still have the names in the overlay, but... The other downside, too, that would probably limit me a little bit is I actually don't have 2 monitors. And I imagine to be like efficient with the overlay, you probably need 2 monitors. Otherwise, I'm going to like have to tab out from Broodwar. Alright, so 4 Dragoons powering away. Citadel and Forge coming up here for Dreamer. And another gateway here for Abuela. Now, will Abuela go for something with the Reavers? He's only got 1. I don't think he has enough to make anything happen. So if he does try, it'll be a mistake. And of course, Dreamer coming in here with this Observer. And now Abuela powering up to that 4-gate threshold. We've got a Citadel here. We're actually going to go into leg, so we're definitely seeing some Zealots made from Dreamer. And getting a cannon in the mineral lines, just in case of a little bit of harass. Speaking of said harass, well, Dreamer is moving out on the map, so it's a pretty scary attack from Dreamer with the shuttle out of position, but this harass definitely has some potential to do a lot of damage, and the first thing we see is a 0 reaction Scarab killing 5 or 6 probes, and we are about to counter here from Dreamer, who is going to arc up his army before he runs in here. Cannon finishing, and Abuela returning. The Reaver's not out yet, though. And so let's see here if we can make it happen. These Zealots unfortunately are slow. Now reinforcing Zealots with speed should be kicking in very soon here, but it's too much, and Dreamer pulls back. So that goes very, very well here for Abuela, because he's just killed 5 probes, and that's obviously wonderful. And shuttle speed finishes almost the same time as leg speed, just by coincidence. And now a speed shuttle ominously into the main base here, and that looks like a pretty damn good Scarab. That's another 4 or 5 probes, and the Reaver just banging away. And of course, oh no, will this Scarab? No, it'll probably dud. Oh, that would have been a hell of a Scarab. But now swings back over to the natural. Pretty good reaction there from Dreamer to split these probes. Oh man, the shuttle's being microed against. He's pinned it down, so he will get the shuttle, but that killed a lot of workers for Dreamer, at least 10 workers, so that definitely enough to put Abuela back into the edge economically, which he definitely needed, because he was kind of slipping behind. Faster tech, greater unit count. The Reavers weren't really doing a whole hell of a lot, but now at least he's slowed down Dreamer a bit. Dreamer certainly can add more gateways really fast if we want to, and now it is Abuela who is going up to the superior gateway count, getting that forge out. No sign of an Archives or a Citadel, but another speed shuttle has been made along with these 2 Reavers, and perhaps we're going to see an attack from Abuela. And we can see Dreamer's kind of prepared for that. He is setting up his army in a nice wide sort of setup. Or maybe it'll just be a 3rd base here. Just coming up to a 3rd base. The way he grabbed those Reavers and took everything out forward, I was thinking, okay, maybe we're going to attack, but does not look like that is going to be Abuela's game plan here at the moment. And a DT. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. What? Is there an OBS anywhere? Wow. Oh, okay. I guess he just had an OBS popping. Alright, I was like, oh my god. Alright, so an OBS pops. For a moment it looked like there was literally no OBS in the base, and I was thinking, dear god. But there was. So the DT gets a few kills and a little bit of disruption, but does not do the almost catastrophic damage it looked for a moment like was about to happen. Both players still sitting very even on supplies, just mining away from 2 bases. Erob, thank you for following, man. Definitely appreciated. And now we got, what, 5 gateways? 6, 7 gateways here. We got 6 from Abuela. No sign of the Templar tech. Okay, there we go. There is a sign of the Templar tech. Is there a sign of Templar tech here? No. So, Dreamer looking to be like... Oh, no, never mind. Ignore me. Apparently I don't know what a Templar Archives looks like. And, oh, okay. Well, this could be a weird fight. Abuela might run in here. And let's see, the shuttle's kind of in the front, a little bit exposed, but he does position it more towards the back, looking for a good place to drop those Reavers. These goons swing around here to try to attack the Reavers. Lots of storms. It looks like almost enough to get the shuttle, but not quite enough. But it looks like Dreamer right now is just absolutely dominating this fight. There's almost nothing left over here from Abuela. But if he can't clean up these high ground Reavers, they are going to choke in here. And, okay, he's going to be forced to pick up and run. But, yeah, that's a pretty convincing win for Dreamer. And Abuela is going to switch tracks here and move in for harass. But the shuttle is taking quite a few hits, and it's already very low in health. These Scarabs could be good. Oh, what were these probes go? Yeah, that one's a massive Scarab. And this one is going to be a massive set of Scarabs. Tremendous probe damage with those Reavers' dying breaths here. And the mineral line from Dreamer ripped to pieces. Sitting on now just a control group of probes. Abuela at least 2.5 times, if not 3 times that. Now there is a 3rd base going up for Dreamer, but there is a 3rd base going up for Abuela. Now Dreamer right now has massive army superiority, but Abuela has massive economic superiority. And will that force an attack out of Dreamer? I kind of think it has to, or Abuela is just going to re-macro up like crazy. And yeah, I agree with whoever's commenting on how rough these colors are, especially for a PvP of all matchups. So Abuela's going to pan in here with all of his Dragoons and Archons, and yeah, Abuela is not ready for this, so his Zealot's just immediately clumping up, and this is pretty much what Dreamer needed to do after all of that damage, and Abuela is going to have to try to fall back and defend. Abuela on almost pure Zealot, but there are 2 Archons in the mix now. If there were 3 or 4, it would be looking really ugly. This Templar does have a single Storm, though, but it looks like Dreamer does not want to try to break the front right now. He now does have 3 base. 2 Abuela's 2 base, but the saturation for Abuela is stronger, although it looks like Dreamer has recovered fairly well. Supplies still very, very even, but this is, of course, as we talked about, a much, much faster 3rd base here. And we're getting a triple Archon morph for, maybe make that a quadruple? There's a decent number of Dragoons at this time. I don't feel like he needs all Archons. Okay, maybe these Templar are not going to merge. Like, some Archons are definitely good, particularly if your opponent's Zealot heavy, but pure Archon? It's more like you want Storms against Dragoons and Archons against Zealots within reason. LaAbuela is definitely not a Z as far as I know. Every game I've casted of LaAbuela through this and last season, he has been a Protoss. I have not seen him playing Zerg. Oh, so close. We're going to have more Shuttle Harass, this time with Templar. So in comes the shuttle here from Abuela, looking for Pro Blood, and oh my god, that is a juicy looking transfer. Holy shit, he transfers right into, oh, not quite. Well, those were still good Templar, but they weren't quite as spectacular as they looked like they were going to be. So Dreamer, for the first time, despite having 3 bases, falling behind on supply, the harass from Abuela continuing to take its toll big time. And now Dreamer moving back up onto this high ground for just a sec. Is he going to commit to an engagement here? Yeah, I don't know if it's the best spot. He does have some units up, and everything is coming in a line here from Abuela. And it looks like he has gotten most of his units here up on the high ground pod. That is important. And Dreamer appears to be crushing this engagement right now. It's always a little hard to tell, especially with these colors. But look how many Dragoons are left over. That is a hell of a lot of muscle. Now, the lack of reinforcements could cause this attack to stall out a little bit, but I don't know. That's just a lot of Dragoons, and indeed GG is called. So Abuela picks the wrong location to make his final stand, and Dreamer exits that group. Dreamer and Jiraiya into the round of 16 of BSL GosuLeague. And so now we are going to be headed into none other than Group D, as you guys might have expected, given the fact we've casted A, B, and C in order. And Group D is a solid group. We have Tech, we have Yop, we have Dissection, and of course we have CadenZie. So let's roll into Game 1. CadenZie versus Dissection. And apparently I can't host with that name. So CadenZie, I'm going to assume most of you are familiar with... Oh yeah, replay show length now. Okay, I can switch to my face for that, to get around that. So CadenZie, most of you should know. She is in Korea right now. She is one of the strongest female players in the world. I believe she's generally sitting in the low 2K MMR zones. I'm trying to remember what she was for this tournament. I think she was pretty high. I think she was like 22 or something. I could be wrong. And Dissection is a player I know very, very little about. But we'll see what kind of games he can show for us here. Yeah, for the next time, now that it does that, I'll just do this and then that, and we'll be good. Alright, so we're back on Sylphid here. Now, CadenZie generally, stylistically, prefers to play quite aggressive, quite micro-oriented. So we'll see if she plays that way here. I imagine so. CadenZie's not usually someone who goes for the big, sprawling macro games. We see lots of Ling pressure, lots of Hydra pressure, lots of aggressive muta play, that kind of stuff is CadenZie's bread and butter. SCV going out here for Dissection. Rather early. Okay, never mind. Just kind of a faster scout. I was like, is he going to do some weird forward barracks thing? Usually the SCV doesn't go out until after the barracks, but a little bit earlier. And CadenZie is going to overpool, so she would have been reasonably okay against most nonsense. Yeah, they finally upgraded the replay feature a little bit to whatever, to be nicer to parse through. I still wish they would have actually changed the names of the replay too, but the fact that you can scroll through replays and see the game length and who versus who is pretty good. Oh, actually, wait a second here. Wait a second. Overpool with a fast gas. Wow, okay. Okay. So CadenZie is up to some build order shenanigans right here. First, it was like making me second guess myself. I was like, this wasn't 9 pull, right? Whoa, triple drone pull? What? She really wants this expansion. Let's be real here. CadenZie obviously wants this expansion, is able to take that down, and yeah, okay. That was a emphatic give me my base now, bitch. And she does get it, but obviously costing a decent amount of mining time. Sees the gas. We don't really know where Dissection is going to take this yet. Could be 1-1-1, could be Wraiths, could be, well, a variety of things. Could be some kind of crazy 3 racks play. Probably not though. Usually you'd go racks, and then take your gas. Gonna have a little bit of an SCV pull here. A factory is gonna start at the front, and then we'll see what is built after that factory. Okay, it is link speed from CadenZie, which can be powerful because you walk in here, you see the gas, you see she's putting down a fast hatchery, and you think, oh wow, this is going to be really fast tech, and then you could get surprised when it turns out to be mass links instead. Now, for the moment, Dissection is in a pretty defensive position here. Okay, third Marine, I was going to say, with 2 Marines, CadenZie might have been able to attack one of those SCVs and slip by. 3 Marines will buy enough time, but notice there are lings pouring out here from CadenZie, and oh, well, look what strategy she's going for. We've seen this one a few times, used with great effect by none other than Effort. So looking to put some pressure on what now looks to be a 1-1-1. No, never mind. Take that back. This looks to be a 2 factory, but he's not going for vultures, and CadenZie is going for masslings. I am scared for Dissection right now, that's for sure. All right, speed is done. The attack on the SCVs. We'll see some burrows here soon, I think. But she's having a little trouble breaking the wall. But now the front gate is down, and let's see how the burrow abuse and control is here from CadenZie. Burrow should be very close to being done. I don't think it's quite finished yet. CadenZie microing around, chasing those Marines down here, and now panic vultures being made. But unfortunately, his decision to go for the shop could prove to be very costly, but he might be able to defend. We do see some lings starting to burrow now as Dissection realizes what he's up against. He's probably faces on ladder. It is a pretty cool, visually cool looking strategy, so it's been used before, but CadenZie might just be running out of steam here. She doesn't have any lings burrowed in the base, insofar as I can tell. Maybe one? Is there a possible ling? What is this? Yeah, there's 1 ling burrowed, but there are vultures moving out, and Dissection might not be expecting the ling mass to come in here, so let's see if he's paying attention with these vultures. And CadenZie goes in for the surround, and Dissection doesn't have anywhere to run. He's going to lose 1 vulture. Can CadenZie get the hit? Yeah, she gets 1. Oh no, and Dissection forced to micro back at home. Can't keep up there, so now no map presence, no counterattack potential, and SCVs are pulled off the ramp. CadenZie attacking the barracks for a second here. Goes in again for that, and now a bunch of lings here. We'll see if she starts using any burrows or if she's just going to chase the vultures around. Surprising she's not sending any vultures to the mineral line here, or sending any Zerglings to burrow in the mineral line, but the micro on this vulture just going ham, and the vulture falls down here, and then we get a burrow. And now what does Dissection do? He just kind of has to sit there and wait as more lings will continue to stream in for CadenZie. Still balanced a little bit on a knife's edge. Speed is about to kick in. Oh, whoa, look at this though. CadenZie has switched into Hydras. That's a pretty good choice when you're up against a bunch of vultures, and Dissection is going to see this and think, oh shit. So CadenZie with her all-ins. Well, the first Hydra is down. 2 vultures can definitely take on Hydra, but has to deal with the burrow. And will Dissection opt to possibly try to sneak a vulture around? I guess with Hydra popping out, though, it's unlikely that vultures sneaking around for drones would do a whole lot. We do see a tank is coming. No sign of siege, though. Getting a little bit of repair on these vultures, but remember, these Hydra are already there, and they switch and they unburrow, and Dissection is handling this okay, but I feel like there's starting to be a few too many Hydra. Vultures starting to fall now. Some of the vultures getting body blocked, and we are going to have a harassment vulture going cross map, but it's maybe a little too late for that, and a major SCV pull off the line here, but this is where CadenZie can just burrow against this, and or the tank is in big danger of being sniped. Can the repair go down? No, oh no. Dissection not having the repair. And I think he is just about out of units here. He's got like one vulture. His SCV count is still thinning, but let's face it, the vulture's slipping in here. We're at 4 kills now. A lot of those are on the Lings, but notice he has killed about 3 of the drones at CadenZie's main, and the vulture still alive here, tapping out, killing the drones. Is there going to be enough pressure here from CadenZie? Hydras are trickling in, but they are trickling in at a slow rate, and with this vulture killing the all-important drones, it might be too much, but Dissection's mineral line, let's not forget, it is hurting as well, and he's trying to micro in 2 places, and CadenZie is picking off these oh-so-valuable SCVs as this happens, as the vulture does as well. We're looking at about 5 drones for CadenZie, a few more SCVs for Dissection, but that's a lot of rallied Hydra and Lings still on the way. And again, Dissection, look at the pulls that Dissection is being forced to do to keep this tank alive. CadenZie trying to micro for all her life is worth here. Is the repair in time? I don't think so. Maybe it is. The tank holds. So Dissection with the hold, but he's got every single SCV off the line right now. Now, he does have a bigger economy at home, though. And so I feel like CadenZie is definitely getting into do-or-die territory. Another vulture slipping in. If this starts getting drone kills, though, oh my god. So Dissection is finally playing this way that seems really strong here, being able to slip a few of these vultures by, and CadenZie is forced to chase like crazy, although nice use of the burrow here, and a lot of Lings and other units burrowed here, so Dissection is maybe going to counter, and some Lings will run in trying to reduce the size of that mineral line. Vultures intercepting now. We've got 3 vultures coming in, though. I think this might be tipping point here. She has 2 Hydra out, but how can she block them from running around everywhere? Drones are falling. CadenZie's economy is more or less destroyed. It's looking like Dissection should have this game at this point. These Hydra, I think they have to sit back at the egg. They're trying to move forward, but then, yep, this was going to happen. We could see that one coming from, well, a mile away. A burrow goes down for CadenZie. There are still burrowed units here, and Dissection's economy is still not good, but CadenZie's is literally non-existent, so I don't know. The vultures are going to finally fall here. Will CadenZie do anything with this trap? It's not enough, though. These are just Lings. They can't kill 3 vultures like that. And, of course, CadenZie's economy is 1 drone. I think this is over, boys and girls. Believe this is over. We're going to have 3 more vultures coming here. Lings trying to burrow, but, again, units can just pop, and she's got 1 drone. The drone can just be sniped. She's going to try to run it back. And it's not like Dissection is completely crippled. So the Hydra's here trying to box in the vultures. Well, suddenly she has 4 drones, but still. Got a repair going down on the tank. A few Lings sneaking in here, looking to pick a few SCVs off. So this is annoying. Oh, okay, I see what he's doing. I was like, why is he pulling all of his SCVs? That's a cute little trick to get rid of the burrowlings, as long as you don't lose too much doing it. Dissection now at over triple the supply, and with mines out. Certainly any aggression from CadenZie is done, and she's got 5 drones. So, yeah, not a good position for CadenZie to sit in. So probably Dissection will just move out at some point, and CadenZie will have to GG. There's no real alternative game plan or option here. And another round of Vulture sneaking. Not enough to kill these Hydra, though. A few more popping for CadenZie. But just looking at the army here, Command Center going to be made in base, and Siege is going to be done. No lair, so it's not like you can even like try to drop on the tanks or do something miraculous like that. There's obviously all these mines across the map, and we can just see that every option now for CadenZie is shut down. And Dissection has a massively stronger economy behind us. Is Dissection Logan? You know, I don't know. Someone probably does, though. So there's a siege. That is a really beautiful siege, too. I want to highlight that. It's like perfectly going to fire right at the choke and just demolish anything trying to come through that choke. And where you'll want to attack the tanks will be like right here, so everything will just block up. Oh, trying to run in a few vultures. Actually, is he going to even get another drone out of this? Looks like CadenZie Splitterlings. Oh my god! What is this vulture coated in? Like just pure butter? What? I don't know how that slipped in. It didn't kill anything, but that was an amazing slip. So Dissection's got like 3 tanks, so I'm just playing this very, very safe. He's like, okay, I know you don't have like any drones. I'm just gonna eco up and kill you. Come get me. So I guess CadenZie needs the miracle of all miracles, the Hail Mary of all Hail Marys here. With this attack, if she could somehow make this attack work, this would be like the biggest turn and shift in a game I think I've ever seen. Dissection just in like dominating fashion. I can't imagine there's any way CadenZie could possibly make this work. We've got turrets there. We've got some pretty smartly sieged tanks. The Hydras are slow and quite possibly without range. So CadenZie's going for it, but it looks like everything here is just starting to siege tank fire. There's plenty of vultures. This has got to be it. Obviously not enough here. CadenZie turns around. Is she even going to... Is she going to stay? Unfortunately, she is extremely dead now. Again, the drone's at like 8. There's no muta coming. There's nothing that I can see that could ever hope to possibly change the tide. Usually when players are behind and they make that final all-in attack, they just GG out, but that's not what we're seeing here. In fact, CadenZie is just going to try to prolong the game with a creep colony here and get a little bit of eco behind it. Starts a lair, but of course this is mech, so lurkers aren't going to have a particularly great value. And the amount of time before she gets muta is like an eternity. I think, like at this point, I feel like Dissection could even just go like mass vulture and just run over everything here. Yeah, she should have just passed off the keyboard to effort, and then we would have seen some legendary burrowedlings. Alright, so 4 SCV, or SCV, 4 volts. We're going to swing around here. CadenZie adding even more creep colonies. It's like a wall of creep colonies here. It's trying to reduce this range, but look at these vultures. They're still slipping by, but they are taking a lot of damage, and a nice burrow there from CadenZie. Trying to get a mine to kill the drones, but not able to get that off. And so the vultures taken care of without any significant damage. The problem for CadenZie is she's about a third of the supply of Dissection. And Dissection is... This is so conservative from Dissection. Like, he's playing so safe. I mean, I still don't even think CadenZie has range even on these Hydra. I mean, if you wanted, like, scanners or something to, like, make sure he wasn't going to, like, get burrow trapped, maybe I can see that. But why he's still not moving out with 8 tanks and 6 Goliaths when he had CadenZie to 1 drone, and then CadenZie threw away another control group and a half with a last gasp all-in attempt, I don't know. I think Dissection does not quite understand just how good of a position he's in. Like, look how hard he's still turtling. Like, I'm genuinely confused by why he thinks he's so far behind. Like, he's playing like he thinks CadenZie has this terrifying attack coming. CadenZie actually has banked up enough money to go mutas, but we got a control group of eyes. Whoa, that spread's so weird, but it looks cool. I like it. I like it. Well, I don't think an expansion can be made here. Those mines may very well have seen that drone. Alright, finally! Dissection decides to move out. Has a few turrets back home. And a few Goliaths popping that will help deter those Muta from CadenZie. As this giant force comes up and 1A, 2A, 3A is into the natural against the 45 supply CadenZie. Muta are going to pick off a few SCVs here. And going to just go ahead and attack these Goliaths. CadenZie's micro actually looking very sharp, but it's too little too late. As there is, well, this force sieging up outside the natural. And everything's going to move forward. There is like 8 Muta to defend all of this. Dissection is just so careful here. So careful. And all the Muta from CadenZie diving onto these Goliaths, but it's not enough. And GG is finally called, and Dissection will take that game against CadenZie. CadenZie tried to do like all-in. CadenZie tried to do it like an all-in, and with burrowed lings and hydras, but never quite got enough units together. She had Dissection in some kind of scary points, but was never quite enough to actually take the thing. All right, so now we go into Tech versus Yop. Here on Circuit Breaker. The beginning 5 minutes might be interesting, but most of the game was not that interesting. Depends on how much of a fan of the players you are. Bottom right hand corner as the Teal Zerg we have Yop, and in the bottom left hand corner as the brown Protoss we have Tech from Clan DM. And obviously the map is Circuit Breaker. Yeah, TVT, I think TVT is a good matchup. The good TVTs are really, really good. And I know nothing about Yop. Tech is a longtime player. I feel like he's more of a macro kind of guy. But we'll just have to see how he opts to play here. Yop, like I said, I don't even know where he's from. Obviously in Clan NAG. Yeah, like, I don't know, bad TVTs are bad, but, like, really bad. Like, really bad in a way that no other matchup is really bad. Okay, gate expand here from Tech. Whereas good TVTs are very, very good. Like, pro level TVTs, I almost always enjoy them. You know, as you drop down in level, like, TVT progressively has dramatically higher odds of getting worse. Like a 1700 level or 1500 level PVZ, like, can often be okay, but like a 1500 level TVT, a lot of them get really stalematy and just like, okay, I want to shoot myself. But Korean TVT in particular rarely goes that way. Alright, so Gateway coming up here from Tech. And first cell immediately starts. We have the 12 hatch from Yop. And the pool there on the gas. Hey, SC Cooperativa. And we have a cross-map drone here from Yop, scouting through the center. Hasn't found anything yet. These players are doing some weird scouting. Oh, I guess Tex is kind of... No, everyone's scouting cross-map. We're just making X's on the map. I don't know what's going on with these scouts. Everyone's scared to death of proxies. Drone coming down here. Ah, I thought I was trying to block the probe, but no, it was not. And we've got a pretty fast gas here from Yop. And no sign of a third hatch as of yet. And the first harassment zealot coming across the map. He's going to know here in just a sec what he's up against. And Tech is going to go straight into Nexus. And alright, here comes the first zealot in from Tech. Alright, here we go. Okay, well, that was horrible. So one drone goes down just absolutely for nothing for Yop. And then Tech is just going to dip on behind the minerals. Let's see if he can get the Zealot and the Probe positioned correctly. Having a little bit of difficulty here. Now it looks like he's doing a better job of it. The Probe not actually participating quite in the fight yet. There we go. Trying to optimize that, and Yop needs to get his units around to either side. Is he going to bring a drone and try to glitch the Zealot? Yeah, but he kind of messes it up and just suicides the drone. So the micro from Yop has not been good so far. He's lost 2 drones. He's lost 3 or 4 lings to this Zealot. And then, of course, there's harassment going on at the natural as well. Yeah, he lost 3 lings, at least, and 2 drones. So Yop is off to an absolutely horrific start. He's not even been able to put down a hatch. We got 2 drones over here. Yop is looking almost brutally outclassed here by Tech. All of these lings are going to be dead. There's not even the Zerglings in production. There's 300 minerals because he wants to drop the Nexus. He only just now starts Zerglings. He did manage to clean up the Zealot back at home. There's 2 Zealots defending. This Zealot is still getting kills. 4 freaking kills. My god, this Ling will probably finish it off. But the economy hurting. Yop has too much gas. He doesn't have a 3rd base. The Lings are going to try to go for the kill. But there are Zealots out here to defend. Now 2 Lings are going to slip in. And more on the way. So can Yop just go for the 420 YOLO swag for Jesus Ling all in and make something happen from his horrible position? I feel like that's probably the only thing he really has left to do. And that is exactly what he's trying to do. And Tech just needs to establish a cannon. Yop just needs to kill the cannon. But Ling speed is going to be a ways away, so I don't even know if he has a window for that. It is a little bit bigger wall here. Some Lings are getting in, but there's a Zealot here from Tech to chase them around. And yeah, that is what Yop has decided to do. He is definitely going to... Oh, wait, no, he's actually going to make some drones. What? Okay. Well, he makes not enough Lings to do anything, and then he goes back into drones. So economy for Yop is not looking good. Oh, that was a cute little Stargate positioning here. It's like, no, you can't run around behind my minerals. No, absolutely not. Alright, so Yop gets out a few more drones. This Zealot coming in here, trying to finish off what remains of these Lings. Hasn't quite been able to do it yet. Cannon now up at the wall here for Tech. And Zerling swinging by. Nice probe pull here. So far, Tech, again, just really hasn't made any major mistakes. I mean, yeah, okay, the Lings got in. That's a little bit annoying. But he's handled it about as well as you possibly could in this situation. And given the amount of damage he's already done, of course, right as I say that, he just loses a probe a little bit sloppy. And then Yop dives in a little too far in the minerals. These Zealots, or these Lings, do get softened up. Yop invested that in the speed there, but hasn't been able to do anything. Doesn't have a lair on the way. He's just going to go into a Hydra Den and try to all in. But we've got 4 Zealots moving out here from Tech. Yop doing a good job now running Zerglings around in the main base. But just as I say that, he just suicides them. He did get some probe kills, so he did at least a little bit of damage. Now we got 4 lots here. How many Lings do we have? A control group. That's dicey to take on 4 lots with poor. Oh, actually, never mind. There's enough here that if Yop brings everything together, if he brings everything together, he could have. But we're just gonna have a counter. Although, if he were to kill the cannon and Hydra Pop, I don't know, this is weird though, because there's also 4 Zealots attacking, and the probe pull is here, but it's a bit late. The Zealot getting surrounded pretty easy, although a lot of probes are attacking, and they are looking like they're actually going to hold this, and the Zealot coming back right now. The Zealot's massacring the popping Hydra, just not enough units here, and GG is called. That game could have gone sort of bad for Tech, but as it was, that was about as one-sided as they come. That was just like dominant win there for Tech. A Vilo Brood War, thanks for following, and Cube Leap, thanks for following as well, guys. And let's do this so we don't see any of this. What do we want here? We want the winner's match. Wait, what? I guess okay, we're gonna have the loser's match, sorry. That I mislabeled as the winner's match. Alright. I'm gonna use the bathroom, we'll be right back with our next game. I get back and rise, I hear that, I hear a subscriber. Alright guys, sorry about that delay. Not feeling 100% this morning. But for now, it's good enough. So we'll go into our next game here on Benzene. In the top right-hand corner, as the purple Zerg, we have CadenZie. This is, of course, the loser's match. And in the bottom left-hand corner, as the blue Zerg, we have NAG's Yop. Yeah, I had like a stomach bug on Sunday or something like that, Saturday night. Threw up a bunch, and it just kind of feels like the return of that or something like that. Little bit of nausea right now. GI track's pretty unhappy with me. Hopefully we'll get through this, but if it gets really bad, just be aware. Right now I still feel okay, but we'll see. Alright, so we got Overlord going out for CadenZie, and of course Yop, it's Benzene, so two-player map. We're going to scout immediately correctly. We'll have pretty good intel on what is going on. And of course CadenZie, well, same is true of Yop as well, but either player here needs a win if they're going to keep their BSL dreams and hopes alive. So we'll see what builds they end up picking. Perhaps not 12 hatch here, given that it is two-player map. Could still risk it, but Zerg will know exactly where you're at if you opt for that. A bug in my stomach. Hopefully not a literal bug. That would be pretty weird. The doctors just go in, come in, hospital complaining, my stomach doesn't feel good, and they go in, there's like a fucking like beetle in the middle of your stomach. I don't know how you swallowed this. And then it'd be one of those horrible things where it like crawled into your mouth at night and you just didn't know. Like supposedly, I don't know if it's a true stat, but supposedly there's a stat that says you eat like, on average, the average person eats like 7 spiders a year. And like, on the one hand that seems sort of believable, but on the other hand that also sounds like one of those statistics that people just like make up and it becomes like an urban legend. Alright, so slightly faster hatch here for Yop. Neither player with a pool yet though. And wait, CadenZie? Wow, this is ballsy. Do you guys see that? That was not an 11 pool from CadenZie. That was a 12 pool after a 12 hatch. Like, the greed is very strong with CadenZie right now. So we'll see how this plays out for her. She's certainly going to have a decent economy. Obviously, we'll have slower lings and slightly slower gas. Although not enough to make significant differences in terms of map travel time. But I certainly could imagine that something like that could happen. Like, I do believe that it probably has happened before, where people have had bugs crawl into their mouth and they just die and you swallow them. If any of you guys have, like, phobias of bugs, I apologize in advance. Alright, so CadenZie. Whoa! Oh no, she's gonna. Okay, never mind. She can do this. This is fine. Gonna make a few drones, and we're gonna flip right to lair before speed because indeed she can see. And Yop is gonna. That's a lot of gas, Yop. Yo, Yop, what's going on, bro? Okay, well that was like 15-20 seconds late. I don't know. So far, Yop seems to be out of place here. He seems to be quite a bit weaker than the opponents he's been playing against, but we'll see what happens here. So here we go. We got 6 lings coming across the map. We got only 2 for CadenZie. We got a few more popping out though, and a creep colony going down. Should just need to morph that into a sunken. She will see that. Oh, actually no, I don't think she did see that. So we're gonna have a bit of a counter here, but there's already a sunken up for Yop. And the sunken is gonna finish in time for CadenZie. Yeah, I think it will. Okay, just barely. So she'll be fine. She's gonna try to run by, at least get some scouting intel, and she does get in. That's annoying. Here for Yop, who is just outright not gonna research ling speed apparently. So CadenZie with that scouting link, can she get a kill? At least this time Yop reacts rather than immediately losing drones here. And, oh, CadenZie just kind of tapping in here, just disrupting the mining, being very obnoxious, but there we go, Yop gets a 4-drone shot off. And the Spire starts for CadenZie. And the Spire for Yop as well here, sitting on 10 drones and 5 drones. So very quick into the gas here for Yop. Definitely has invested more into economy than CadenZie, but has Yop judged this correctly? He's going to put down a second creep colony. Getting that second gas, so he's going to have a lot of gas, but CadenZie is switching heavily into Lings, and the second creep colony is not finished yet. Has Yop read this right? Has CadenZie read this right? Yop does react pretty quickly here to a drone pull at the ramp, but now the Lings of CadenZie streaming in. All those Zerglings are dead, and CadenZie is target firing the Sunken. She's going to be able to fight them individually, but Yop is looking for a big surround here. And CadenZie fighting here, but it looks like there's a small chance Yop will hold with this Sunken up and continuing to go into Ling production now. CadenZie's going to sneak a Ling into the main. More rallied across. Spire still on the way, but this is definitely being a little bit disruptive to Yop, but he's only lost a few Lings and a Sunken so far, so it's not a huge win here for CadenZie, and now runs in though, and no reaction from Yop, a little too slow here, and then CadenZie does a massive run by with all of these Lings here, and Yop losing some at the ramp, and now we've got 5 or 6 in the main. Not enough to kill the Spire, but certainly enough to potentially pick off a few drones here. And there goes 1, make that 2, and Yop is not reacting too well in the main, and that's 3 drones being killed here. Now CadenZie is getting her money's worth out of these Lings. 4 drones. Will it be a 5th? Yeah, probably. Well, maybe not. And now the target firing on the Spire. Well, I thought 5 weren't enough to kill the Spire. Yop's going to go for the drill here to save his Spire. And it looks like he will save it, but that was quite a bit of damage. Now Yop had made a lot of drones, so he still has an okay economy. It's honestly better than CadenZie still, but the Mutalisks are out now. Yop is going to be losing this Overlord. Ling's still being streamed across for CadenZie, but now with Mutas out, I don't think CadenZie has many options here, so he's going to go for the run by though. Let's see if Yop can block this. I think he will. Actually, nope, Ling's being Butterfingers. That's another drone for CadenZie, who is just devouring Yop's economy right now. And can she get another drone kill? Yop forced to run some more. It looks like she will probably... No. Okay, good save by Yop there. CadenZie's economy. Okay, she's put these drones on the gas, though, so she's got 6 mining whatever and mining double gas, so lots of Scourge from CadenZie here. Overlords are getting picked off. This one's going to go down immediately. 7 from CadenZie, only 5 from Yop, so Yop is actually on the defensive here, and CadenZie just wants to commit to this fight, picks off the injured one immediately, and a rallied Muta Scourge are coming out. Let's see how CadenZie's micro looks here. Actually, it looks like most of those Scourge connect, but there's only 2 left, and 6 from CadenZie. As long as she can just get a few shots on the Scourge, she can just take this right now, but actually all the Scourge connect, and it's not going to be enough for CadenZie in this moment. Now she can micro against the Scourge here. Let's see if she can get the Patrol micro. We, of course, don't know the lag conditions the game was played under. But now Scourge of CadenZie coming across, and it's just 1 Muta here for Yop. And I don't know if there's enough. Oh, he's popping drones. What? What? Yop. What? Well, that was just a questionable decision-making moment where instead of making Scourge or Muta, he made drones, and CadenZie takes the game. Yop Scourge were being crazy effective, but then he just made drones at like the middle of a Muta fight. I feel like he was a little too committed to making drones. He already had a massively better economy than CadenZie. He didn't really need to go into like that many drones. The L in my name stands for lucidity, as in lucid dreaming. I may or may not have been a cocky little 8th grader, 9th grader when I made this name. Maybe. Maybe not. Just saying. Alright, here we go. Winner's match. I never know how to pronounce this. Caceres? I'm going to go with Caceres unless someone has the official pronunciation. This is, of course, our winner's match, even though I labeled it loser's match. Ignore that. We're going to have Tech here facing off against Dissection, a PVT, in the top left-hand corner as the green Protoss DMs Tech. And in the bottom right-hand corner as the blue Terran, we have Dissection. Hey, thanks, Selly. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's a lame name for it. Mine was Glaive Master. Wait, Glaive Master with 4 6s instead of 3 6s? Rolling up a double paper. I get that one. I also get a lot of people thinking it's for Love Master too. And I'm just like, no. No. I'm not that I don't even know what the word is for cocky. I don't know. That would be like almost too corny. Corny. I think I'd have to go with corny or something like that. If you just literally named yourself like Love Master. It's like the most cheesy. It's like what you'd expect from some horrible like reality TV dating show. I am the Love Master. Alright, so we're gonna vision up Caceres a little bit. Refresh you guys on what it looks like. Of course, there we go. We've got the temples over here that can be killed off, holding access to a third base. So it's an island third that can be opened up. Relatively ordinary natural that swings into a third base without gas. And yeah, so you have third base pod, third base pod, third base pod, or main pod. And then these are the only kind of non-main bases. So you've got center gases, if you can hold them. And then if you want a third gas, you basically have to expand to another main or natural. We've got a okay, 12 Nexus, and it is cross map here for DM's Tech. So he gets a favorable spawn location. And SCV is going up on gas here. Yeah, I love Master 69, I guess, for maximum corniness effect. And first gateway's down. Gas. There we go. They're just going up, and we'll see how confident here Dissection is in his micro. He did have pretty decent micro, all things considered, in his defense against CadenZie. It's a pretty crazy game. Lots of SCV pulls, lots of vultures, lots of repairs, all kinds of stuff going on. I don't even know who Michael Myers is. I'm so bad with like actors and famous people. It's almost it is comical how bad I am. But yeah, sometimes really bad shows can do that to you. You just look back and you're like, why did I do this? Downside here, oh no, this is Tech. Downside for Dissection is that he's going to be finding this 12 next rather slow. Now we did see in, shoot, where was that? I believe it was in BSL Pro League. Oh, is this 2-fact? Oh, we're going to have 2-fact against, oh, poor Dissection. Poor Dissection. 2-fact is a strong build, but 2-fact is notoriously weak against 12 Nexus. He's going to see this and probably just groan hard. Just think, oh, god damn it. Of course, 2 gates have been made up. It's not like Tech's doing anything greedy. Sending a Zealot out to scout. Okay, it's a bit odd. Turn it around now. Got the core there in the top part of his base. So very, very hard game ahead here for Dissection. Gonna need some good micro to get anything done. And trying to pick off the SCV, but it is out of the base safely. And we got the tank coming. We're getting a second shop. No upgrades yet for Dissection. And Tech moving right across the map, which is kind of ballsy because, well, it's going to work out for him. But if there were vultures, you would just be throwing away these zealots for free to these vultures. Wants to go do 3 Zealot harass. I'm assuming the reason he actually wants to do this is because he wants to figure out what the hell he's playing against. And right now, it's just going to look like an FD. And we'll see if Dissection tries to fake him out. Maybe hope he does some sort of expand or whatever. That's probably the best option for Dissection, is just to pretend like he's doing FD. And then hope that Tech's like, oh, well, you're doing FD. Okay, I'm just going to expand and cut some units in my gateways. And then he can make this 2-fact work. But it doesn't look right now like Tech is giving into that. In fact, Tech is looking to pressure this very aggressively. Probe is still scouting. All right, in come the Zealots. He wants to force Dissection to show his hand. And this is a lot of Zealots. He's going to know now that it's 2-fact. Especially as that third tank comes down, and whoa, the Zealot's on move command, and I don't know what Tech is doing here. He got 0 shots off on the tanks, and almost throws away his goons, certainly throws away his Zealots, and now all the SCVs pulled, and the hand for Dissection is revealed, but that probably wasn't the start that Tech was looking for. He would have liked to have had those Zealots to buffer a bit later, and SCVs being used to get up on top of the high ground, and we've got a goon trap. Nice move there from Dissection. A little bit of miscontrol by Tech at the same time, and now the rallied Vulture speed and tanks, speed and siege coming across. Maybe there's already mines. If not, this is kind of an odd combination to not have mines. But obviously, major SCV pull here. We see the Panic Gateway going up as well as the Citadel. Oh, okay, that's an interesting choice of defend, but he's got a battery, so there has been some nice forward thinking here from Tech. The SCVs aren't quite able to trap the goons here from the top. That would have been a pretty cute move if he could have pulled it off, but we got 3 tanks coming up. We got 4 Dragoons. Let's see how the battery recharges are. That is a hell of a lot of SCVs. Obviously, Dissection going very, very all in with this, knowing what his position is. Immediately, a bunker starts here. Now, Siege, of course, remember, is on the way. Here are the rallied Vultures. He's actually not attacking this building. Will he go and try to finish this off? Whoa, Tech is just going for it. Once the Siege tank doesn't get it, though, and every time you dive in like that with the Dragoons, it's a major loss, and he's targeting the wrong tanks. Will he get this one? I think he will, but now he needs to get a repair on this tank, but one tank gets sieged up, and of course now the bunker is up, and it looks like Dissection is making it happen. Those early losses for Tech proving to be a big deal, and Tech is pushed back onto one base. Lots of mines now. He is at the ramp here. These Dragoons forced away. He's going to lose. No, never mind. The mine does not go off. He will hold his ramp, but now Dissection can establish that contain. He is not cutting units at all. Tech, I'm sensing a little bit of salt here. A little bit of salt coming out from Tech. Perhaps he didn't want to play PvZ against CadenZie because that is where he's headed. And there's only 1 Dragoon left. It's not enough, and he's making Vultures, so that also he's making Zealots, which also explains that comment of nice all in, because he knows that that is not the units he needs to defend this at all. Although the rallied units have kind of stopped here from Dissection. 2 siege tanks, still going to be enough to get the damage done. We're actually laying mines here, just continuing to pick off probes, kiting around, letting the tanks fight from the bottom of the ramp. This is actually kind of a cute setup here. The Vulture giving Dissection just a little bit of vision here, and possibly going to try to lure these Zealots over. Zealots trying to attack the tanks. That shouldn't go anywhere, but it looks like Dissection focused on just killing off the probes and the mines, luring those Zealots in. Going to have a few more Dragoons popping out. Is there any chance Tech could hold this? I don't really think so. Now Tank's just going to go back and siege up. And of course, Tech pulled a lot of probes here. Ah, well, that's one way that might do something. Okay, he did clear out all the mines. There's only 1 Vulture. If he could sneak some DTs by, maybe he could turn things around a little bit. If he can get a DT on top of the tanks, that would force an unsiege, and the Nexus is still alive. But of course, a command center is going down here for Dissection. Let's see what that Vulture is going to do. Alright, he's going to start laying some mines. Now, has he made a Zealot to Minesweep? A Zealot or 2 to Minesweep, along with a couple DTs here, could change the tide a little bit. But will it be in time to save the Nexus? Okay, DTs on top of the tanks. The Nexus might be savable. How will Dissection respond to this? Oh, okay, no reaction yet. So now the Vultures are going to run in, and definitely going to start laying the preemptive mines. But the tanks have been cleaned up here. And so some forward thinking here from Tech, enough to get Terran off of his back. And so Tech is still sitting okay. Man, if Dissection had just rallied Vultures in at that moment where he was above the ramp, 100% he would have won there. So the bunker is down. Tech will reestablish. Still a long time before Dissection's command center finishes. Dissection has okay SCVs. Tech has okay probes. I would say the economy is probably pretty even right now, but with the faster Nexus, we'll soon favor Tech here shortly. Alright, so we've got some Zealot and DT mine sweeping action going on. Lots of mines being laid up. He has gotten his EB out. He's getting up a turret, and this game is actually going to, for the moment, switch into a bit more of a macro struggle in what looks to be somewhat balanced of a game. Doesn't look like Dissection is terribly far behind. And this Zealot is just going to die to the wall of Vultures. And we got 2 DTs obviously coming in here. Will they get any kind of cool mine drags? Nope. They're just going to... Oh, actually. Well, there's a turret there, though. The DT is just going to chill right there outside the front. Tech just arcing up his Dragoons, immediately moving into taking a 3rd base. He's got his observatory coming up. He's going to get a shuttle. Are we going to see a DT drop? Or some sort of whatever. Alright, he's got to back up with these Dragoons. They're pretty far out, but it looks like Tech has backed up in a good position. But if they get in the base, that's going to be very annoying. Although, wow, this micro, this control, so far is really good from Tech in response to what is happening here. He does lose a Dragoon. Okay, well, just as I said that. Still, that was pretty well handled. The Vultures were unable to get any probes there. Just backed up in good, solid order. So the vultures can bang away on the Nexus a little bit, but they're not going to do anything to it. And a few more tanks are being made. So we're going to have like 4 tanks. Not really any aggressive options right now for Dissection. That's probably the biggest problem from his position here. We'll see if he does. Is he going to do something unorthodox like Barracks? No. He's just going to do a timing attack. Whew. Barracks wouldn't make any sense though. Yeah. Doing a marine thing when your opponent already has DTs is just a bad idea. Recipe for disaster. This is already out. Alright, so Arbiters. Well, 6 fact all in here from Dissection. And third base coming online here for Tech. He's only on 4 gates, but he has been on 4 gates much faster than Dissection's been on 2 factories. So, I mean, if we're looking at it, we got 4 tanks out right now. We got 4, 5, 6 Dragoons. Tech is still a little bit skinny here on probes. From a supply position, he looks okay, but he will need to add gateways. Most likely, I don't think he can really have an ARB out in time for this, but this is annoying. A DT now being dropped in the main here, and delaying these factories is pretty significant if he can do it, but he can't. The DT can still be annoying. Tanks are being brought now. Scans are out, so... Oh, the scanner abuse. That's always very annoying, being forced to burn those scans. But most important positions are reasonably covered by the turrets here. But we can already see with this shuttle, Tech is going to have lots of options to be very annoying and do things to delay this push. And of course, now he's seen it, and he obviously feels very confident in his Arbiter timing here and his ability to delay because he's not adding gateways. And 4 facts against 6 gates is obviously a suicidal play if you don't have any, well, Tech. But in this case, Tech has Tech, or is confident he will have his Tech, and believes he can use the Arbiter to defend without racing towards a super high gateway count. Oh man, just being super annoying, popping this DT in and out, but there's so many units there that if scan gets off for even a quarter of a second, the DT will die. So, yeah, Dissection is probably thinking, oh my god, this is super fucking annoying. Playing with some serious APM right now. And just going back to working on that. Now the Goliaths can chase the shuttle away, and oh my god! Oh, what a sick DT drop! Holy shit! Maybe that was because he thought the shuttle was gonna die, but it totally blocked those Goliaths and kept the shuttle alive. Either unintentional pimp micro or just pimp micro. All right, so the shuttle's gonna come back here. And Tech is going to move down to meet it. He's sitting on a 20 supply advantage. Now he's going up to his 8 gateways with that Arbiter in production. Obviously going stasis first. He knows he's against an attack. And that's going to add just another element of difficulty here for Dissection. And of course that DT, the continual use, he has burned the scans. There's actually not scans. Holy shit. Oh my god. He's burned so many scans. Will he just make a few DTs here to delay this? It's going to be so hard to deal with these Arbiters. Going up to 10 gateways, and I really think Tech should be able to defend this here. Honestly, he's getting a late siege here. He's just slowing this down. The Arbiter is going to be out, and there's going to be 2 scans to work with. It's very, very easy to burn 2 scans. I mean, turrets are being made, but look where he's having to make turrets. He's going to have to slow push across a quarter of the map, and that's not going to happen. That's going to give Tech more than enough time to roost a round or 2 out of his 10 gateways, and I don't know what this was. I don't know what that was. Probably a miss move. They probably tried to move his army somewhere, and just Dragoons were being Dragoons. Oh man, Dissection has such a long ways to go. The Arbiter is about to pop out now, and you can just start to abuse the living daylights out of that Arbiter. Just, you know, slide a Zealot under there, can easily drag mines with no vision. The 2 Goliaths are nice for Arbiter deterrence, and the Vultures run way too far forward. Let's see here if he's going to split out his Zealots. Let's see how he uses this Arbiter. Now, Dissection has moved forward pretty quick here into position to try to kill this base, but Tech is rolling off of those gateways, making a giant army, 30 supply advantage, shuttle moving forward. Actually, if any of those mines go off, they would have been amazing, but none of them go off, so that is a pity for Tech. And now the Arbiter moves forward, and it looks like he just wants to use the Arbiter as part of an offensive maneuver. I don't know if this is the right decision from Tech. There are not enough units here at the moment, and the wall from Dissection holds, but the third base is not under siege yet, so still not terrifyingly bad position here for Tech, and obviously has thinned out a lot of the Vultures. I'm surprised we're not seeing a little bit more of Arbiter cloaking abuse. Oh, now actually the army close enough here to force Dissection back. And will Tech lose his third base? He might at this point. He's actually sweeping around for a counter at the bottom. So let me rephrase that. He definitely will. But he is on 2 base with Tech, which is not exactly a horrible position. And oh, an Arbiter here with a stasis. Let's see how that will be used. Is there an obs, though? There is, but the turret has to die first. The Arbiter being turned around, and this is going to give Dissection a little bit to think of on both sides. Does he go for the killing blow into the natural, or does he go, oh man, Tech just wants to go straight over the factories here, and I don't know if that's the right move for Tech. This counter is not working out. He's not having anything in the natural, and I believe this can be cleaned up. Tank sieging up. Tech, I think, has misjudged this pretty badly, and it's looking like Dissection is going to take this game now. There's nothing to stop the onslaught of tanks right now to the natural. Well, actually, maybe if scans get burned down. Let's see, and this is a lot of sieging for mostly a Zealot army. Scan goes down a little bit late. This might just be enough to clean this out. Okay, it will be enough. So Dissection overextending, and Tech actually now starting to pick off a few factories here in the corner. One is already dead, and again, I was going to say, you know, he has lost his base, but Tech still has his Arbiter Tech, and 2-base Protoss with Tech is not that terrible against a 2-base Terran without Tech. You wouldn't want to play 2-base to 2-base just long term, but with Tech, that's not all that bad when Terran does. Now, if Terran had Vessels, it would be a different story. But Dissection is kind of out of units. And finally, this counter here for Tech is cleaned up. Now, he obviously can't produce out of all these gateways now after taking this level of economic damage. Amazingly, though, not producing an Arbiter, that is a strange decision. Oh, wow. Gets the last tank, but the mine blowing up those 2 Dragoons, and Tech just looking to expand. A bit of a sneaky base down here. And for the moment, Dissection holds, but he's stuck on 2 bases with a pretty low SCV count, in all honesty. And yeah, I still feel like Tech's position's okay. That was very, very close. Again, twice now, Dissection has come incredibly close to being able to win against Tech, but once he didn't reinforce, and in this one he just overextended a bit in the natural. If he could have just brought some SCVs up, got a turret or 2 down, would have been able to most likely hold that position, or at least force Tech to try to go the recall option. But he just pushed in and was a little bit late on scans and had no turrets. So aggression overextension. He has started getting at least a few upgrades, but it's only +1 at the moment, and no sign of a starport anytime soon. And Tech now looking to be sitting fairly comfortably. Dissection responding with a hidden base of his own. Both players going into the hidden base methodology of playing. But Tech now is settling out at a 50 supply advantage and has Arbiter Tech. So, yeah, the only thing you could say going for Dissection is the 1-0, but 1-0 is not. Well, let's put it this way: 1-0 is definitely not 2-0 or 2-1, which is kind of that magical turning point. Oh my god! Oh my god! Well, that didn't go well for Dissection, who immediately turns his SCVs around. I guess that's better than going to the base. They were going to die there, so still going to lose a lot of them, though. And alternatively, can this Maynard? It's going to be tight, but I think they're going to make it inside the pylon wall. There's a cannon up there to deter the vultures. So now Dissection's going to see it and be like, oh shit, well, I'm losing this base. And Protoss has a third. And he's got Arbiters. And yeah, this is bad for me. So let's see here. Can we get insane probe kills? Insane probe kills with the vultures? No, that's going to give Dissection quite a bit of time, although Dissection is reacting very slowly here. Alright, Dissection or Tech on a 2k gas bank only just now started making an Arbiter. Well, has not added a second Stargate or anything like that, though, despite his massive gas bank, or made any Templar. So the Vultures wasted their time diddling around over here instead of running into the bases and maybe getting a lot of probe kills. So that also unfortunate here for Dissection, who seems to be running out of options now. He's mining 1 base. Okay, well, he's about to be mining from 2 bases, but he's mining 1 base right now. Not a lot of income. Pretty defensive setup, which he absolutely needs, but this is a rough position to be in as Terran for obvious reasons. It's not even a gas base over here. He can't really make vessels and get his upgrades, and if he does, he can't make tanks. So he's just not able to make much of an army composition. He's got to deal with threat of recalls, which is probably researched right now. In fact, yeah, we see a 200 supply arbiter. That was very close to seeing that. Did he see it? It doesn't look like it. I don't think 3 Goliaths is enough to stop the arbiter from dropping the recall. Let's see where it recalls. I mean, if it lands right on a bunch of mines, could do something. It's kind of a baby recall, though, and there are a lot of mines, so I don't know if this recall will be all that punishing. Great mines here. These mines, oh man, if they go off on clump zealots like this. Okay, well, the mines basically killed that recall, so that was nice. But we do get a ramp stasis. But unfortunately, there's only 4 units remaining, and the mines actually just finishing off that recall entirely. So very nice mines there from Dissection. Perhaps Tech should have brought in or looked with an obs first before doing that recall. Still not enough to swing the game here. Dissection's just very, very far behind. We actually got arbiters trying to kill turrets in the main. And Tech just kind of chilling. But any time that passes by here for Tech is great. Because he's in a fantastic spot. He's taking a 4th base. He's got full economy. Again, we're only just now seeing a science facility. Doesn't even look like there's armor upgrade going in that factory. There's only 5 factories. So, you know, even if the recalls aren't good, if they're just buying time and keeping Dissection from doing other things on the map, that's not a bad draw. Now, if this base were to go undetected, that would be pretty nice. But the best response here from Tech would just be to take the Arbiter if he has enough for a recall and just recall like 4 Dragoons back over here or something. Or just grab a shuttle. Pretty easy base to shut down. Nice scouting here. Just making sure he covers his bases and doesn't lose to anything stupid. Hidden bases, man, they're life. You gotta expect hidden bases. Like, what else do you do? This game's all about hidden bases. Supplies have closed more than expected, but that goes back to the ridiculous OP-ness of those mines. That just... It wasn't one of those recalls where it was, like, visually dramatic, where the whole recall just blows up, but the recall just, like, completely whimpered out without killing, like, any units. Oh, we're looking at a recall? Or is that the obs still tucked in the corner? The way he moved a few units over, I thought it was going to be a recall, but no, that's just the obs. Okay, now it's going to be a small recall. Probably wouldn't want to recall too much, because Dissection still has an army, and he'd have to wait for another recall to get his army back out. Which could open up a bit of a window for Dissection, since Dissection is obviously not going to go defend this. What? That was there's no vessel. It didn't get EMP'd. It must have gotten EMP'd. It had like 4 energy. Or did it somehow fuck up the recall? I don't understand what happened to its energy. There's no vessels. It couldn't have gotten EMP'd. There's literally not a vessel. How did it get to 4 energy? Well, he's just going to kill the temples now. That was Jehun level. I don't even understand how that happened. You can't have a 4... Like, how do you have a 4 energy arbiter? Is there a way to, like, start the recall, and then if it doesn't recall, it just sucks your energy? That must be. That must be what's going on here. So, an anti-recall. And Dissection is going to max out. Unfortunately, be maxing out against a 5... base toss, well, actively mining 3, but in total 5 bases, and he is mining from just 1 base. So Dissection has a pretty visually intimidating army. It's a bit spread, but visually it looks scary. It looks terrifying for 155 supply. Scary to think of the kind of army that could be made if you could wait for 200. Moving through some of these vision blocking doodads. And the problem for him, though, is anywhere he goes, he basically has to attack up the high ground, so it's going to take him a long-ass time to move across the map. And the Vulture swinging over, and here we go. Terran sieging up. That is a beautiful line of siege tanks here. I don't think this is the fight for Tech right here, but, you know, there are storms, and storms are very powerful. In fact, sometimes I feel like they're almost underestimated in PvT. Probably the reason you don't see Templars as much is because of how snipeable they tend to be, but if you can get the storms off, God, they're a good spell. And it looks like, despite this, the storms are good enough, and Tech is able to mostly break Dissection siege lines. Now, normally we would consider this a bit of an overextension here to continue fighting with just Dragoons, but the economy is so terrible here for Dissection that I don't think it's that big of a deal here. I mean, there's only 3 tanks and a few stasis, and there's no secondary option. Drop coming in over here on the right-hand side. And will force the probes to run, but they'll just run to another base. And there are still 3 actively mining bases. Looks like... Oh, Dissection tried to move these Dragoons back, but they're, like, temple blocked. Or maybe he meant to attack the temple and just clicked here instead of the temple. But they're just chilling. Alright, sending back some vultures here to... sending back some zealots to deal with the vultures here. Having some difficulty with the pathing over here. Surprisingly, no more recall attempt. Well, maybe not surprisingly. After you get a recall annihilated like that, maybe you don't recall anymore. So Tech, yeah, sitting on a huge bank, just remacroing a giant army, and Dissection doesn't have a giant army or anything to do. And I don't think he really is going to even be able to get another army at this point. As there's only like 200 minerals left there. There's like 6 vultures left here. And... yeah, I don't even think he can max out with what he has. And of course that means Tech can just freely take all the bases in the world that he wants. He's trying to get something done with his dropship, but it's like that situation where you're like a Protoss and you're on 1 base and Zerg has like 4. And like, yeah, you're hitting some like epic harass all of a sudden, but it's like, oh, they have 4 bases and like 10 hatches. So like, yeah, you can harass everything, but they just make a wave of drones. And you still have nothing that you can do to stop them from just chilling everywhere and taking the entire map. So we'll see what this dropship gets done. Like I said, the harass is good, but it's far too little, far too late. And this is the winner's match. Dissection beat CadenZie and Tech beat Yup. Alright, so in we go with this dropship, looking for a place to harass. Okay, finds a cool little cliff here. Although units are going to pop, so this drop will not be all that great. Let's see if he redirects his units right as they pop. There we go, okay. So these tanks are going to be finished off in fairly short order. Probes should just transfer right back, or maybe not. And yeah, we can see Dissection is only 130 supply. Let's see, that is 3 or 4k minerals. He can only get to like 170 supply if he makes tanks. Maybe get to max if he made vultures, but literally does not have enough money in his territory to even see another maxed army. And of course, Tech is completely maxed. Finally, he's burned through his gas bank. Does appear to be actively mining both gases though, so that's good for him. Has he added any more High Templar to his composition? Got some vultures running around here for Dissection, which is an interesting choice. I guess he feels like he needs to do something, but at the same time, by harassing with these vultures, they will eventually die, and that's even smaller army sizes and money that he has access to. I guess what I don't like about this from Dissection is he obviously can't win sitting here. Like, the longer he sits here, the worse his position gets, and he hasn't done anything aside from just kind of sitting here. Like, I feel like he probably should have just kept pushing and then just GG'd, but you can't just sit here on the map and be like, oh, well, I have 3 bases, I obviously can't win from this position. Like, the harass is good, but the fact that he's not doing anything alongside the harass is, you know, he just needs to. Because even if he kills all the probes, like, it's still 4 bases for Protoss, and Protoss has the entire map. He has to do something else. I realize there aren't many options, but he needs to like try some slow pushing, try some. He should just be trying something rather than basically saying, okay, well, I'll wait here and you can come kill me. And I think at some point Tech is going to say, okay, well, I feel established enough now to just go for the killing blow. And Vital 105, thank you for following. I appreciate it, man. That vulture's been cleaned up, and it looks like Tech is going to gather everything down here. Going to continue to expand. Did he get to 3-1? Okay, finally he's going to push, but he's only got 148 supply. There probably were better push options for him sooner before Tech had remaxed. There are a few High Templar in this army, not a ton. Going forward, hitting some okay EMPs. This one still has some storms, though. And these Zealots are getting right on top of the tanks. That is a hell of a tank line, though. Once the Zealots are gone, Tech's definitely got to pull back, because it's going to be Dragoons funneling through a choke, and they are going to get owned. So yeah, Tech will need to back up there. And alright, now Dissection is moving quickly for another base. Needs to get right up on that high ground pod. But the Dragoons are just being used to pick off units and make it a pain in the ass to get up the high ground pod. I like that kind of play, as long as Tech doesn't overstay his welcome. And if you can reinforce with gateways, that's even better, because there are not going to be enough units here for Dissection, especially as just Zealot reinforcements come in. He runs in aggressively, throws down another stasis. These tanks should be getting fairly close to unstasising though. Threatens a snipe on a CC, is not going to get it though. And so Tech will perhaps briefly be mining from this base. I don't think so though. It looks like Tech is doing too good of a job of keeping tanks from getting on the high ground and just delaying this base at the 30-minute mark. Also expanding to 2 bases while this goes on. And here come the tanks rolling forward, and oh my god, sloppy moment here from Dissection. Does exactly what you don't want to do, and doesn't have these tanks in range. Now finally getting a few on the high ground, but look at the delaying time here as Dissection continues to mine 1 base. He desperately wants this. He needs the turtle here in the center and find some way to get maybe the right-hand side of the map, but he is just about out. I'm surprised Tech... It feels like with all the bases he has, which is 4, feels like he should just be re-macroing crazy fast, but it's taking him quite a long time to re-macro. And finally this base is established, and Dissection really would need some supply depots, needs to wall this stuff off and try to prevent vulnerability to his bases here. But I like this decision, except, again, the mines are pretty good, and let's see how many... Oh my god! Holy shit, the mines from Dissection have been so good on defending these recalls. Only 2 Zealots left here, that's pretty good. You can just send back a few vultures. That was the visually that was the same thing that happened to the last recall, but this time it was visually satisfying if you're a Terran player. It's probably a nightmare if you're a Protoss player. But yeah, that one just got wrecked. So Dissection has crept his way to 2nd base. He's at least mining 2 bases now. But, you know, Tech has the entire map, and there's a lot of bases on this map. But Dissection needs to make a faster play for yet another base too. I feel like eventually something's gonna stick here, and Dissection can't just keep creeping 1 base at a time until it's mostly mined out. Like, he's gonna have to take a risk, because if he just sits here and camps, I think Tech will eventually find some weak points in this. And there's always the possibility at some point that Tech could just transition carriers. But I'm impressed. I still don't exactly love the way Dissection played this game, but he's making a game of this one so far. Like, he's staying in it. He's staying alive. Oh, nice vultures, or nice Dragoon positioning here for Tech, ready to intercept these vultures, and of course they're invisible, so not a lot Dissection can do. I feel like Dissection should really take this base now here that it's open. He could just creep a little bit more forward and would more or less have the base blocked off if he just crept tanks this far forward. And then he starts to almost have access to these bases. And of course now Tech is remaxed, and finally we get a recall that's going to stick in the main here. Able to come in from a different direction and get past the insane minefields. And this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Dissection is definitely going to have to send stuff back, but he's going to lose some of his factories or depots. He's losing his science facility right now. Really could do with lifting that. Surprisingly, he's making dropship and not science vessels. You would think with recall defense, or with something like this where you know you got a turtle far away, that you'd really want to get aggressive about your recall defense. But it looks like he's going to be able to just swarm with enough vultures to kind of mass this down. But efficiency is important right now because he's now mined out this base, so he's back to that low 1 base mining, and now enough damage being done that Tech is going to start to bank, and that will really allow him to resupply and put down the gateways. And he's also running out of scans, and because he was making dropships, so I don't know. This appears to be finishing off what Dissection has. He's losing the last of his depots, and it does look like this recall is, well, the mines are pretty good. Whoa, mines everywhere, blowing up a lot of Dissection's units as well. Now almost at half the supply. Zealot's still alive, and just look at his minerals. I don't actually know if he's going to be able to clean up the recall if he can't kill the Arbiter. He's got no scan energy here. Okay, he does have some scan energy, but not that much. He's used up most of them. So it looks like he finally gets rid of that one, but guess what? It's the chain recall time. You can hit this point where Terran can just start, or where Protoss can just start chain recalling. Not enough time to lay mines. That was kind of a baby recall, though, in all honesty. So, yeah, we'll see if there's even more Arbiters coming, though. And, yeah, Dissection can't stop the recall train, and GG is called. So Dissection, who was behind from 10 minutes on, does manage to make a 35-minute game out of it, but Tech solid enough not to let a strong position slip away. Dissection just played it really turtily, and the right decisions were made by Tech. It was a cautious way of playing it, but it was a fine way to play it. Hey, Yonzerg, thank you for the host, my friend, and thank you for following Yaugen5 and GoSleep A2. And you guys, of course, just tuning in, this is none other than BSL GosuLeague here, and we are headed into our final game here. This is going to be determining the second player that gets out of the group. DM Tech is out. We're going to have the rematch, Dissection versus CadenZie. In the first game, CadenZie went for a 2-hatch burrow ling speed with reinforcing Hydra play and was unable to make it work. The defense was pretty decent from Dissection, got in harassing vultures. But now it's the rematch. We are on blockchain in the top left-hand corner as the red Terran. We have Dissection. And in the top right-hand corner, as the yellow Zerg, we have CadenZie. And yeah, welcome everybody. Nemu has arrived just in time to watch. Well, we won't go there, but there was some entertaining dialogue, some crazy dialogue in certain TL threads before, as BSL was getting going, with comments all over the place. Of course, Nemu returned from hiatus here. He'd been away from Brood War for a few years, but is now back and back in form as he's waltzed his way on into the round of 16 in BSL Pro League. And we got Overlord going out for CadenZie in the wrong direction. And now we'll see if CadenZie comes here with some kind of cool prepared strategy. Again, CadenZie knows that... or CadenZie known for generally playing rather aggressive. Definitely is not, at the moment anyway, a macro-oriented player. Much more in the style of perhaps a Zealot, like the Korean player, or a Mizo or somebody like that, that plays very, very aggressively. So CadenZie trying to make it out of her group here. This is do or die. She was able to make easy work of Yop, who I felt like was a little bit outclassed here. I don't know if he had an easy region or just had a bad day, but he looked pretty outclassed. CadenZie's going to drop the 12th hatch right away here. And the barracks going up for Dissection. And the gas as well, same as last game. And yeah, I'm just really curious to see, since... blockchain is the map here, if CadenZie has a prepared strategy. She might have a bit of an advantage in that sense because you got to remember she is in Korea and she is playing a lot with some of the Korean pro gamers and has had access to some coaching and stuff like that, and so more ideas about blockchain, more play of blockchain in the Korean community for obvious reasons, namely being that it's an ASL map, whereas for foreign players perhaps a little less incentive to play on blockchain. It's also not a part of the ladder. So someone like Dissection might be a little bit less familiar with blockchain than CadenZie could be. So she thought about gas and then didn't take gas, and now we're going to defend the bunker rush here. Or fake bunker rush, or real bunker rush, or yeah, I guess it's real. But CadenZie has drones off the line very, very early here, just trying to shut this down before it even gets started from Dissection. And for the moment, Dissection is just going to head on back home, or at least back to his Marine, and then turn around. How much does he want to bunker rush this? The answer is quite a lot. So Dissection is just not even hesitating here, but Lings are going to be started for CadenZie. It feels like she's already done enough slowing of everything down that she should be fine. And now looking to go around onto the Marine, but doesn't get it. And there's a good drill, though. That'll take care of it. Now just drill again and get those drones out of there. Two drones fall. Okay, that's some damage. But you got to remember, obviously Dissection has pulled a lot of SCVs off the line. But CadenZie has certainly bought the time she needs. The Lings are out, and the SCVs here from Dissection are going to need to run. CadenZie could probably stand to run her drones. And there we go. There's the run. And this everything now just needs to head home. Now Dissection obviously has built his barracks at the ramp. No forward 8 racks. So he's going to live just fine. But CadenZie will likely get this Marine. So close to getting this around. About to pick it off. Just waltzing those Lings. Okay, she won't get any of these SCVs, though, with their little drill tag back to the minerals. They'll be far too slippery. And in typical CadenZie fashion, we have a lot of Lings coming across the map, but there's no speed, and there's a vulture on... Oh no! This might be a mistake from Dissection. Oh, CadenZie hesitates, though. I mean, it's a pretty good wall, but the Marines are going to fall into Dissection again, skipping Vulture against CadenZie. Obviously does not know CadenZie's aggressive reputation. There we go. Has to cancel it. Switch to the Vulture. He did this last game. Almost paid for it. Will he pay for it this game? He was able to defend last time. He might be able to defend again this time. CadenZie is not rallying in more Ling, so it looks like he will defend, but certainly some disruption. Certainly a bit of a heart attack here for Dissection, but he's doing a pretty good job with this, just running the Marine around, letting the SCVs do the fighting. Vulture pops out now. Sunken is on the way here for CadenZie. And what is the transition for her? It looks like a drone is going to head out back to take a base. Dissection, like I said, Dissection giving himself and all of the viewers a bit of a heart attack there, but CadenZie was not rallying Lings and did not have speed, so in the end, not enough to be threatening. By the way, do Koreans give pro gamers license as they did during Kespa days? No. There's no, like, actual professional organized scene. It's all streaming now. I mean, there's ASLs and organized team leagues, but there's no formalized teams with official esports league. Now, in StarCraft 2, I think it's the same thing. I think there's just kind of like leagues, but not actual, and there are teams, but there's not like a professional organization. You know, it's not like the PGA Tour. Oh, CadenZie's not a pro gamer at all. No. Technically, nobody, I guess, is a pro gamer. Although I guess that depends on how you want to stretch the definition of the word, right? Because, you know, in one sense, you could say, like, you know, all the people, including CadenZie, are pro gamers because they are streaming on Afrika and they're making their living playing games, so they are doing it professionally. That is their profession right now. But in the context of, like, being part of an official organization, no. Hydroden, lair for CadenZie, fast third base with access to that gas, but it's going to be a Vulture drop here from Dissection. Will CadenZie be ready for this? Oh, and Aspire, okay. She's sending a Ling out. That'll give her a little bit of warning time. But if she doesn't make anything, she's getting a second creep. I don't think... This is an interesting decision-making here from CadenZie. She has been inside the base. She did not see the starport. She didn't see the factory. So she has to suspect like 111 or something like that. But will she make some Hydra? Okay, she's making a few Hydralisks. Now, will she be paying attention to this? Obviously, she's gonna see it. Okay. But did she see it? Oh dear. Well, we're gonna have at least 3 or 4 drone kills. Possibly quite a bit more. Oh, the reactions are slow even then. Okay, we're sending up some more Hydra. Mine's going... Whoa, sorry about that, guys. Mine's going off here, and uh-oh. There's, like, nothing left to defend. A lot of drones are falling here for CadenZie. She is going to run them into the corner. That's not a bad decision. Okay, so not as many dying as I thought were going to die. But Dissection is going to swing over here and continue to be annoying with this Vulture, forcing yet another run. This is very disruptive. And you got to remember, CadenZie's supply is pretty low here. She has a little bit of economy, but not enough. Now Dissection just does the pickup and then just bounces back over here. Dissection is just being incredibly annoying. Oh, there's actually still Vultures left in the main. I thought they were all dead because, well, they weren't in the dropship. But no, he still has a few. They are very low on health, though. And CadenZie's not even sure where to go with the drones. So much disruption here from Dissection. And, of course, she can see the mines, but she's got to wait on these Muta before she can clean out this dropship. And, wow, Dissection, though, is already preparing like crazy for this. There's going to be 3 Valks to meet these Muta, which means, well, the Muta aren't going to do anything. And if CadenZie makes one wrong move and runs into the Valks, the Muta will just evaporate, and then the Valks will counter and potentially just kill a tremendous number of Overlords here. Especially since the Hydras have 0 ups, and CadenZie is not likely to make all that many more Hydras, so the position looking very, very bad for CadenZie. Let's see what happens here. Dissection is already anticipating this. Okay, CadenZie gets a little bit of advance notice, and she just runs in. I don't know why she did that. The Valks get off their hits, and I think the Valks can just counter now and go Overlord hunting, and meanwhile, Dissection over here with the drop, showing off a little bit of multitasking here, slaying these drones from CadenZie. So those are absolutely annihilated, and now CadenZie trying to come back with the Muta. It looks like no, still wary of Scourge, doesn't feel like he has enough Valks here, but continuing to produce Valks is Dissection. You don't usually see this level of mass Valkyrie. I don't know if he's trying to style a little bit or if he just legitimately wants to have 4 or 5 Valks. But it's a little bit of an attack coming across. CadenZie is sunkening up, though. She has managed to reestablish that base. I mean, she still has an economy. This game is not over, but these Valks are going to absolutely... Oh, the damage just goes down. So much splash. I mean, Corsairs are scary against Muta, but that's only until you face Valks. 4th Valk coming across. And Overlord hunting. Nope, just scouting. A little bit of scouting going on. CadenZie does still have her 3 bases, though. Okay, so now the Valks do commit to killing that Overlord. That was funny. The Scourge, like, we're trying to hatch from the eggs, but then the eggs... I've never seen that happen before with that animation. Like, the Scourge didn't die the way Scourge normally die. So I'm not going to say all hope is lost for CadenZie. I mean, she does have a 3rd gas. And Terran doesn't have a lot of a ground army and is only just now expanding. I thought more Overlords were going to die to those Valks, and she doesn't really have any Hydra. But that is, for the moment, not going to be the case. As Dissection has just decided to return home and says, okay, well, CadenZie's defended. I'll go from there. And it looks like Dissection is going to commit to mech. Despite seeming to be someone who is reasonably mechanically inclined, we've seen some pretty good harass, some pretty good multitasking at key moments here from Dissection. He doesn't seem to like bio, doesn't seem to have much confidence in it. And now we're going to have a mech push with a tank added in. And that is basically what he was waiting for, as CadenZie goes for Hive. Now this tank is a big deal, obviously, because CadenZie is relying on these Sunkens for defense, although Lurkers are out. Oh my gosh, okay, well that's going to put a stop to that. So CadenZie's actually safe for the moment. This push absolutely can't kill anything. And a Vulture is just trying to work its way in here, but, well, eggs have a lot of armor. They're beefy. They're beefy. But with all these Lurkers here, yeah, this will just stall this attack out. There's not even an academy. And, oh, a Muta counter going on right now at the natural, and that's going to pull Dissection back. So Dissection getting the worst of both worlds. CadenZie already has Lurker out, which in hindsight is a very good decision. Now, I don't think she actually went into the base of Dissection to scout this and do it reactionarily. Can the Scourge connect? Yes, actually, eliminating a Valk, so that's cool. Does take a lot of damage on the Muta. But now the Lurkers are coming across the map, and there's 0 detection. This is pretty bad. If CadenZie's not careful, of course, she can just easily suicide these Lurkers. But if she inches them forward, this will be very annoying, and Dissection is going to be like, oh, shit. All right, well, oh, is she going to burrow? Okay, she is going to burrow. And, okay, well, target firing could be used to kill this in an emergency pinch. We'll see if he's going to put... Probably not. There's probably too many Lurker Spines to do something as crazy as that and take the Goliaths forward and pinch them down. And CadenZie's going to move back, but she'll get the hint here that there is absolutely no detection, and there won't be for ages. So this is quite a blunder from Dissection to play without any sort of a scanner. I'm not exactly sure why he thought that could happen. And suddenly CadenZie's terrible position now is looking a little bit better, and she's going very quickly into Ultralisks here against this mech play. Should have Link Speed on the way, and then I assume we'll see Claws start quite rapidly. And yeah, Dissection's just trapped here. He's going absolutely nowhere. He's got to get a science facility also. Got to wait on that academy. So this buys CadenZie a tremendous amount of time, and CadenZie opting to take the closer base here. Now, some of the Valks still alive here. I mean, Dissection still has a supply lead. He still has a scary army, but the longer Hive continues to exist, the more comfortable CadenZie can start to feel. She's going into that Ultra Armor. Still not a lot of units out on the field yet for CadenZie, but that supply gap is closing down, and it looks like she might be playing her way into an okay position. Are there any upgrades at all either? No, there are no upgrades. Slurker's still able to tickle units. Now, comsats are being added, so Dissection is about to be out on the map here with an army. But CadenZie now only 10 supply behind. Those Ultra are presumably in production. We'll definitely want Ultra Speed to finish up, though. And then it'll be a question of what can she do against this army. It's a shame there's not also a Defiler Mound. A couple Defilers in there would feel extremely powerful. This Vulture will eventually make its way in. I don't think it can slip in. I think it has to kill both eggs. But yeah, big army from Dissection. CadenZie knows about it. Ultras are still slow right now, though. So there's definitely a window here where if CadenZie isn't careful, this army could get beaten pretty badly. Like, mech doesn't fight too poorly against pure Ultra, and there's not a whole lot of Lings in here to suck damage, and this army is going to move right into the choke. Lurkers move forward here. Now, how many scans are left? That's going to force the army back for a moment, and CadenZie might be overextending here, running on top of these tanks. Yeah, realizes that and turns around, especially without any of her Ultra Speed and other upgrades, so now she is getting choked off, and that's the biggest problem. She can't get any surface area on this. Now, there's not a ton of tanks, and there's also like no reinforcements here. And this vulture is, well, it's not attacking that egg, so we don't have to worry about it for the moment. First vessel coming across now, but this is continuing to buy CadenZie a little bit of time. Speed out for the Ultras now. Where are we on upgrades? Well, we're starting armor here. We have not started an attack. We have, what, 1-1? So decent upgrades, but upgrades a little less important versus mech, and CadenZie is just going to make a go for it now. Scourge coming forward here. Goliath being used to attack that, but that is a lot of Ultras, and they are almost on top of the tanks, and the Goliath will be very weak against the Ultras. If CadenZie can get a few Lings to rally in here, she'll be okay, but she can't. She does target fire down the tank, and then will pull back with the Ultras. Dissection just powering hard on 2 bases. CadenZie needs a few more units. Wait, what? There's not speed. Oh, no. Oh, CadenZie appears to have forgotten speed. She certainly had the money to make it. I can't imagine there would be a conscious decision not to make speed. And now Dissection just kind of working his way forward here. And unfortunately for CadenZie, like I said, it's that choke point. Maybe some Overlord drops or something, but she probably doesn't have drop to bring anything around out to the side. We're going to run a few Lings into the main. That's a pretty good distraction. It's going to be annoying, but these slow Ultras that CadenZie keeps throwing away could be the difference between winning and losing here, but Dissection making a bit of a mistake and moving forward pretty quick with his Goliath, and the Lings from CadenZie getting in, picking off a few SCVs, giving some distraction to Dissection and forcing him to defend in the main, hold some units back, but CadenZie has another Ultra go AFK and some sloppiness here that could prove decisive later down the line. Now, is CadenZie teching in any other fashion? The answer is no, but she does have a Nidus Canal. She can reinforce these guys. And she does have this base going, so there is a lot of gas. So I still feel like it's a case of buying time, but Dissection is expanding. If CadenZie can break this up, then I believe she'll be in a reasonably good position here against Dissection, and she's starting to have quite a few units now. She is waiting a little more patiently here for that Ultra Speed. Probably should just wait for the tanks to just range down the Sunkens, get this wall out of the way, and then go for it. But let's see here. Ultra Speed kicks in right about now. Drops a few more hatcheries. Pretty big supply advantage for Dissection, but reinforcements do arrive to link up. And it is a scary army now. It is a Goliath-based army, which is not as scary for Zerg by any stretch of the imagination as the Vulture-based army. But the problem now is Dissection is getting into full macro stride, and he is adding some of those Vultures, which are much, much better against Lings than are the Goliaths. And it is a strong siege position. If CadenZie had Dark Swarm, we could see this being broken extremely easy. But as it is, this is going to depend on how Mines and Ultras and how this whole battle runs out. With surface area, there's no doubt this army of CadenZie could flank this and crush Terran's army quite easily. Now, the bigger concern for CadenZie here is Dissection does obviously have wonderful map control here and is going to double expand. All right, now CadenZie's going to go for it, and this is pretty much do or die. Oh my god, the mine doesn't actually go off. And will there be enough? It looks like most of it is dying, though. I don't think it's enough. It doesn't attack for a while. The Lings have almost all fallen, and it just doesn't appear right now to be enough from CadenZie. If she can get Ling reinforcements over, though, it might be enough. Certainly it has been thinned, but it is not broken, and reinforcements are coming across here from Dissection, and there's also a, well, Valkyras in the main, so that is possibly going to be a killing blow. He's brought them back at a pretty good moment, and again, CadenZie just doesn't seem to have the Lings in here that are needed to buffer damage. Pure Ultra can fight very nicely against Marines if you have good upgrades, but it can't fight that well most of the time against mech. Tanks do good damage. Goliaths fight Ultras okay. Mines are pretty annoying. We have a little bit of a stop in this fight, but for the moment, CadenZie pushing Dissection back, but these Ultras are overextending. CadenZie realizes that and pulls them back. And 3 more Ultras. I mean, 4 gas is the big thing going right now for CadenZie. And now she's running in. Still not very many Lings in this composition. Upgrades for the mech, though, are 0-0. That's going to become a huge issue as these Ling upgrades increase, though, because the damage output from Lings is just going to get stupid. Now, this is not a drop. These are just Overlords flaying. And CadenZie with a nice trap here on the side. And, well, will she find this base, though? Ultra pushing all the way. This is probably too far for the Ultra to push because they aren't being reinforced. The tanks should eventually clean them up. Of course, fighting in anti-siege mode, they're doing less damage than they otherwise would, so CadenZie is going to not pull back. Alright, I don't quite understand that decision. Another command center being made, but this time he will find this base occupied as CadenZie just rocking that 4th gas. And I don't... Okay, now she's definitely found this one, and she's going to find this one. And how will CadenZie respond? I mean, 4 bases mining right now for Dissection. CadenZie still has pretty decent tech. Dissection is going to continue this Valkyrass. I was worried there for a moment where he was possibly just going to kill all the Overlords at a critical time, and CadenZie was going to have 0 reinforcements. But Dissection not quite able to multitask to that level and get all those Overlord kills on the clumped Overlords. If he would have had like 2 more Valks, definitely could have. Alright, so an Ultra has wandered over here. It's already forcing a lift here. That's a good move. That puts Dissection onto just about 1 base of mining. Kind of mining out that 2nd base right now. But only 3 Valks, so they are vulnerable to Scourge. There's no stacking. Looks like the Scourge for... Oh! Bit of a Scourge mistake. So 2 Valks remain alive. But forcing some gas out. And then, of course, there's this base over here that CadenZie is working on and now able to attack. And Dissection is going to find this base completely exposed. And he's made no move to... Actually, no, he has cleared out the... extractors, but he's got everything defending at home, a little too static, and this is a huge move from CadenZie here, and a bit of a mistake. Dissection had lots of time to know this was coming, and was either too scared or just didn't make the move he needed away here, and so that is really almost all of Dissection's mining now, and just is not going to have access to much at all. It's also a gas that's lost here. We do have a drop, but CadenZie's on top of it with the Scourge. Nothing can even land there. So the defense solid, and Dissection is just going to move out. He's completely seeding this base, and so it's going to come down to 1 final fight, but he's only going to be able to reinforce with 1 base eco for production, and CadenZie might even bring these Ultras back here to defend this, and unfortunately it's a Tank-Goliath composition, and at this point, as long as CadenZie can have a little bit of patience, a little bit of a surround, it should go very well for her. We're running in here. I don't know if she has quite enough to charge in yet, but she's going for it. The Ultras are going to be decent, but it's not enough right now. She should back up and wait for just a few more units. She's got plenty of bank. She doesn't have to get too aggressive with this. She just needs to stay alive, and she'll take this game fairly comfortably. She actually still has minerals at all of her bases, not super heavily droned, but she is kind of low on supply right now. And was that attack too early? Was it a mistake? Was it a bit of a throw? Can she hold on? She's putting down some panic creeps, but creeps are not all that great against mech. You know you're in a little bit of concern when you're having to make creeps against a mech army. She's getting a little bit hasty here. She should know, though, that Dissection doesn't really have an eco. She's continuing to deny the base over here, which is good. It's just about buying time right now. These drones are for sure going to all die. Ultra's popping through here, but they're coming in a little bit too hasty. She hasn't been able to buy enough time. Some Muta popping out, but there are still Goliaths left, so a Muta transition would have worked with in a group of like 12 or 15, but is it going to work in this situation? Right now it is not, and the supply of CadenZie is dropping precipitously. She had the game in her grasp, but it might just be slipping away from her. She doesn't have any tech anywhere else, and it looks like Dissection is going to start moving up the ramp here. This is do or die, but he still has some reinforcements. I think at this point it is too much. CadenZie was not able to buy enough time, and I'm not thinking this army is going to be stopped at this point. She is denying all of Dissection's bases, but she's going to lose everything that she has to fight with and just cannot get an army. We're sending in units in desperation, and it looks like Dissection on his dying breath snatches victory from the jaws of defeat and will be moving out of the round of 32 into the round of 16, and CadenZie, unfortunately, looks like she's going to be dropping from the tournament. She doesn't have a drop anywhere. She has no hidden moves anywhere on the map. I don't think they can save her. She has a couple ultras. She's trying to rebuild the cavern, but now she's lost a ton of her eco. She's lost 2 of her gases, and yeah, Dissection doesn't have any bases, but he's still mining some over here, and he's got 120 supply, 242 supply. You can just make a dropship or 2. Siege up a few of these bases now, even roll the tanks over and finish off the bases however he wants. So a bit of an anticlimactic ending to an otherwise reasonably well-played game from CadenZie. Dissection, is he going to split his armies? Looks like he is. Or maybe not. Maybe he's going to bring everything and just go finish off this base. Oh no, both of them are dead. Never mind. They're impassable. They're impassable. The extractors have been killed. So Dissection is kind of sitting here derpily. Not realizing what has happened, and CadenZie's gonna stay on 2 bases, try to get enough meter or something, but I don't know. Dissection just has way too much now. He can't win with 50 supply. He's got a drop ship. Okay, he's gonna just ferry some stuff over. That's not a bad idea. See if CadenZie can get the ultras up here in time, or if Dissection is gonna be able. Okay, this is smart. Just siege up a few tanks back here. Really, really, really powerful. So this base also falling for CadenZie. Dissection's trying to hide bases, but CadenZie's now so thoroughly dead that you know, she doesn't have a response to it. I think she's got... No, she doesn't even have units. So she has no response here to anything Dissection can do. So close. Probably a bit of a mistake not to grab a Defiler and to attack a little bit too soon. Definitely a game CadenZie could have won. But Dissection is slowly dismantling what remains of CadenZie's base. And yep, Ultra Cavern back dead, pool falling. Like I said, there's a few units. CadenZie's going to try a few drops, but Dissection just left with way too much supply. Might slowly float a command center somewhere. He could even float to center right now if he wanted. Goliath here on the low ground. CadenZie still has 1k. She is rebuilding her pool. She is not ready to give up yet. She is trying to get something done with the mutas. And I guess on a map like this where you can't walk everything, I sort of slightly get where she's coming from, but we know where this is headed. And yeah, Dissection did take the center, so that was a smart move. Props to him for that. Does need to put a few units in the center, but, you know, outside of that, 2 muta forcing a command center lift. You don't see that every day. And we have a massive drop over here that will finish off all of CadenZie's mining. So that is all she wrote for everything that CadenZie has at 27 supply. Never give up, never surrender. This is getting into being some serious GG timing. CadenZie probably a little bit pissed that she lost this game. I'm sure she knew that she was in a strong spot. And there it is, GG is called. And Dissection will move on into the round of 16. So congratulations to Tech, Dissection, and LaAbuela for advancing out of their group. And thanks to all you guys for subscribing, or not subscribing, for following, for watching,